Okay. There we go. I think that should be on. Sorry about that. Interesting. Sorry, I was saying, top of the morning to you guys, or afternoon for you, Ramiro. Bullseye, going to a graduation or your graduation? Oh, this is so cooked. What is this? F-U-L-I. A bit low, but yes, I can hear you. A bit low still. Okay, no problem. That part we can fix pretty easily. Okay, that should be better now. My brothers. Yeah, how's it going, man? My brother's might is next Tuesday. Oh my god. I don't have Coke. Today was very sad. Oof. My brother's mine is on Thursday. Oh, I see. Dope. Next Thursday. That's awesome, man. Mine is on June 12th. So, like, 2.5 weeks, give or take. Oh, I need to... That reminds me. I need to pop by. We may not have a morning stream tomorrow. Or... Yes, Ramiro. It is. Tomorrow or the next day or whatever, I need to pop by my uni to grab my graduation cap and stuff. And since I'm there, I'll get up to some tomfoolery, I'm sure. That's awesome. I don't care. Just get rid of it. What's the word? Folio. Fuck you. Ugh. 402. That is crazy. We're at 400 now. We're making good progress now. I have a new hate for Mushoku Tensei fans. Why? What happened? 402 and digging. Argument happened? Oh, I see. Hey, I finally got a notification. All right, good stuff. Hi, Lou. How's it going, man? How you doing? Let's just keep connections really quickly. All right, 5 minutes and we'll get started. Riddler makes me think of the Batman villain. Okay. Riddler, Mad Hatter. Both Batman villains. Back from my jog. Nice. Maul, Strings, Obelisk. Hulk, Shrek, Grinch, a Riddler, all green. Damn. Bridge Troll? I'm thinking like green stuff or like green, but I don't know what Maul, Obelisk. Pool. Capital. Condition. Okay. Again. Riddler, Sphinx, Bridge Toll. Riddler? Bridge Troll, Sphinx and Riddler, and sorry, Sphinx and... Well, you just said a Riddler twice there, buddy, so that's only 3. Nagato, how's it going? Riddler, Sphinx, Bridge Troll. Mad Hatter doesn't really ask questions. I feel like, does Mad Hatter ask a lot of questions? Oh, I guess he fucking does. Never mind. I don't know a lot about Mad Hatter, okay? Riddler, my boy, I know a lot, but I don't know much about the Mad Hatter, unfortunately. Oh, 3 then. Okay, still. I think Hulk, Grinch, Shrek, and like one more. Someone's got to be like, what is Alphaba? Oh, God, the characters with the green skin. I don't even know what Alphaba is. Alphaba. What is this? Oh, it's the protagonist of Wicked. I did not know that. I had a psychology and sociology exam today. How'd it go, Nagito? Alphaba is a witch. All right. Obelisk. Condition. Catch. String. Asterisk. Like, oh, fine print. Obelisk Mall Capital Pool. What would this be? Features of the National Mall in DC. How the fuck is anyone supposed to know this? Someone who lives in DC might know. Hell, like, Americans might know this. How the fuck is anyone else supposed to? Fuck you guys. God. Psychology, pretty good. Sociology, decent. All right, well, that's pretty good. You know, we take those for sure. Those are good. Those are good numbers. You'll do good. I have faith in you. You've been studying a lot, so you'll do good. 402 digging. All right, let us get started. Actually, let me get my notes up and stuff. We've had a lot of lore dumps the last 2 or 3 streams. I was really hoping for quiet chapters when I came back, just so I could get some time to get back into shape and everything, and it's just been lore dump after lore dump. Okay, dope. Let's go. Alright, let's go. Who is it? Klein jerked his head to look up at the door. He felt as if he was suffering from an illness. The fear of hearing the doorbell was identical to the symptoms he had experienced on Earth. Being afraid of his cell phone's ringer. There's only one mod, give me power. I will leave that to Romero Nagato, because he can give mod power. So if he wants to, he can. But it's pretty quiet right now, so maybe a little bit later also. So I'll leave it to Romero for the moment. Putting down the newspaper and magazine, he looked up at the empty plate that he had cleaned, which had been cleaned, even some of its seasoning. Then he stood up and walked to the door. Before he got a hold of the handle, he already knew that it was Dr. Aaron outside. "Don't you need to work?" Klein mumbled. "Good morning, Aaron. The fog is still great today," he smiled. Aaron was still wearing his cold expression, but there was a sense of anxiety and fear on his face. He nudged his gold-rimmed spectacles and, without bothering to greet him, said, "Sherlock, I had another dream. I dreamt of Will Auceptin again." "Ah?" Klein almost froze. "That's not right. The real paper crane is with me above the grey fog." And yet you're still dreaming of him with the poorly made paper crane by the Nighthawks? That's not scientific. No, that's not even mystical. What? The same dream? Klein asked. No, it's not that scary this time. Aaron became a little calmer. I dreamed about the Grimm Cemetery. You know of it, right? Yes, Klein answered. Back then, he had caught a group of students and a mysticism enthusiast who was a complete beginner, Kapuski, engaging in a spiritual dance outside the Grimm Cemetery. He later received another copper whistle from the latter, which could be used to summon a messenger. Aaron, wait, Romero, are you sure? Like, if you right-click, if you, click on someone's message, it doesn't give you the option to, add as moderator or anything? Aaron drew a deep breath of cold air and continued, I dreamed of the woods outside the Grimm Cemetery. I dreamed of a birch tree which had layers of bark peeled on its trunk. Will Auceptin was sitting under the tree looking at me quietly. Sin! How's it going, man? Not late at all. I just started reading 2 minutes ago. You're right on time. How you doing? And then, Klein pressed, the dream ended. What a strange matter. Dr. Aaron has got nothing to do with the paper crane. No, if it wasn't related, then there wouldn't have been a situation where the dream changed after the paper crane was switched. Furthermore, I also performed divination with the paper crane above the grey fog. This is no longer within my scope of understanding. What do you want from me, Aaron? Klein asked. I see people on Reddit. Also, it's only through YouTube comments I can do it. That's so stupid. I'm pretty good, Sin. Thanks for asking. Hello, Dr. Z. How's it going? Aaron breathed out warm air that dispersed into white mist. I want to pay a visit to the area around the Grimm Cemetery. I want to do it now, while it's still daytime. Can you protect me? I'll pay you £1. Heading over to the place that appeared in my dream. You probably won't encounter anything strange during the day. Klein thought for a moment and said, I can accept this request, but I suggest you go back to the same cathedral and tell your dream to the bishop you're familiar with. Aaron agreed and said doubtfully, Why do you always suggest that? I know you've explained it before in a logical sense, that if mystical powers exist in the world, then the churches which have been leading humanity must be the ones with the strongest mystical powers, and if there's none, then we can at least go to church to get some psychological comfort. But why do you suggest that I go to the cathedral for something that isn't too strange? Klein considered for 2 seconds, then said, I'm a detective. I've come into contact with a lot of unusual things. I understand the special nature of the churches, and I know when to ask for help. Sorry, I was just reading Nuggets' message. Milosh, how's it going, man? Klein considered, yes. Really? Aaron listened. The corner of Klein's mouth curled up. Just kidding. Take it easy, Aaron. I'm going to change my clothes first, and also do the dishes. Having chatted with Aaron at the door for a long time without his thick coat, he turned rather stiff from the cold winds. Taking this opportunity, Klein wanted to go to the washroom. Klein went to the bathroom, went above the grey fog, and divined the danger of the mission. He received that there was almost no risk. If he received a revelation indicating there was danger, his plan was to reject the mission using the Church of the Evernight as an excuse. Hillstonborough, Myriad Star Cathedral. Sherlock, why don't you hire a maid? As a great detective, you can afford to have several, Aaron asked. This was something that he wanted to ask while in the carriage, but he never had the opportunity to change the subject. Klein sighed. Aaron, let me tell you a story. There was a detective who hired 2 maids, a cook, assistant, and he was doing pretty well. But one day, he took over a case and successfully honed in on a murderer who was very savage and cruel. He snuck into the detective's house with the intention of revenge. The detective was a fighting expert, and in the end he was only slightly injured, but 2 of his servants died because of him. Do you get it? I see. Aaron's voice had a hint of empathy. Sherlock, I never knew that you had such an experience. No, the main character has nothing to do with me. I just made up a story. It's not like I can tell you directly that I'm involved in many strange and mystical items. And that there will always be unspeakable secrets in my home, so it's best that I don't hire any servants. Klein looked forward and let out a long sigh. The cleaning of his house was done twice a week, mostly by Estelle and Sammer's maid, who was responsible for the most basic cleaning procedures. and each cleaning cost 1 soli. While they were talking, the two of them already completed the Hall of the Myriad, already entered the Hall of the Myriad Star Cathedral. Toilet divining? Wait, what? I know, it's been a busy month. It's been like a busy month or 2 months for Klein. He's built up quite a reputation very quickly, but it's also come at a lot of personal cost. I mean, it hasn't really cost him anything yet, but like it's caused him a lot of stress and stuff. When they were talking, yes, it was dark and quiet and devoid of candles, completely in line with the Church of the Evernight style. At the very front of the hall was an altar engraved with a dark sacred emblem. The stars were inlaid with self-illuminating pearls, and the crimson moon was made up of rubies. The rest of the hall was filled with darkness. With a single glance, he could see that the place was filled with specks of light as the crimson light illuminated the area, making the place extremely sacred. It also did get him a lot of money, true. But Klein felt that this was inferior to the design caused by the St. Selena Cathedral in Tingen. That hall was pitch black and with only light penetrating from the front through a fist-sized hole. It resembled a starry sky, making one feel in awe from the bottom of one's heart. However, there's a problem with that kind of design. That night, the effect would be gone. Klein took a seat at random, took off his top hat and leaned on his black hardwood cane, while Aaron continued down the aisle to the confessional in search of a bishop. Sitting in such a large hall and looking at the people who were concentrating on praying, Klein's heart suddenly became tranquil. Come to think of it, this is only my 3rd time entering the goddess's cathedral. He let out a laugh. Inside the Cathedral of the Serenity at Winter County, Leonard Mitchell. Fuck yeah, let's go! We get to hear more about Leonard, my go! Let's go! Leonard Mitchell put on his black trench coat and red gloves and entered the room with the high-ranking deacon, Cresset Sesamir, the sword of the goddess. Congratulations, you have officially become a red glove. May the goddess bless you. Sesamir drew a crimson moon on his chest. He still had his mouth covered with his high collar. Klein deserved that money. He had a sequence 5 hunting him while he was a sequence 8. True. That's yeah. And of the same pathway too. It wasn't even like, oh well, he's a different pathway, so we have different strengths or whatever. No. He was of the same pathway. He was just straight up better than Klein, and he died. Our clutch lady, our clutch Miss Bodyguard coming in for the save. Praise the lady, the honor is mine. Klein raised his right hand and gestured in 4 points in a clockwise fashion. Sesamir didn't say anything and went straight to the point. According to your request, I've placed you at Soest's team. He's a soul assurer and possesses a mystical item. I've already ordered someone to prepare a beyonder weapon for you that you'll need. A soul assurer. I'm assuming that's the real clutch was my lord. That's actually kind of true. It actually was kind of your lord. That kind of saved that. That's why he's a fraud. Again, I don't know if I would call him a fraud. There was another Miss Bodyguard in sequence 6 or 5. Like there was someone helping him. Like yeah, Soul Assurer. That's what I thought. New sequence. Soul Assurer. So the Evernight Church has 2 pathways in their control. They either have the Sleepless or the Death pathway, right? So it's either of the Sleepless pathway or of the Death pathway. I'm going to go with Sleepless, I'm going to assume. New name. Just because we don't like right now with the Sleepless pathway, I know 3 of them. That is crazy. I know Midnight Poet, Nightmare. I know 4 of them. Sleepless, Midnight Poet, Nightmare, Night Watcher. This is crazy. Of the Death pathway, Corpse collector, gravedigger, spirit medium, spirit guide, gate watcher, or gatekeeper, sorry. So I'm going to guess it's up the sleepless pathway. Okay. Your team will be in charge of a devil summoning case, and you'll be taking into consideration certain clues that to be performed in the search. For example, cases that have appeared consecutively in Backland and matters related to a terror ritual. Oh my god, he's going to be looking into Klein. So there's a good chance they meet up soon then. Yes, Reverend Sesamir. Leonard held no objections towards the mission. This is the beginning of my revenge, he said to himself. Westborough, in the periphery of the Grimm Cemetery. Klein accompanied Dr. Aaron as they took quite a while to walk along the nearby woods, coughing from time to time as a result of the falling grayish-white dust. Maybe there isn't a tree like that. Dreams can't fully reflect in reality. Towards the end of the search, even Aaron was a little uncertain himself. Fortunately, I'm good at finding things. Klein pointed with his cane and said, let's take a look over there and make it our final effort. My guess would be, in order for Klein to be able to, Klein and, I don't know, Leonard is probably going to help him, for them to kill Ink Zongwil, they're going to need to become high sequence beyonders themselves, because like it was mentioned that like a demigod can never kill a god. I would assume it would be the same, that like a human can't kill a demigod. Like they have to kill them. They have to fight amongst themselves. So it's Klein is of sequence 7 now. He'll be 6 probably within like 100 chapters or so. Leonard is sequence 8. I feel like, because he was the no, hold on. No, because he was Midnight Poet, and then it said he took the next potion, so he's a nightmare now. Is that correct? The gap between 5 and 4 is fucking ginormous. Yeah, exactly. That's what I imagine. Like the gap between 5 and 4 is ginormous. The gap between 1 and 0 is ginormous. The gap between even a 8 and a 7 is probably pretty big. Because it's like the difference between a mid sequence and a low sequence, and a mid sequence and a high sequence has got to be like really big. I assume the gap probably grows in size. So like the difference between 8 and 7 was like big. Like when Klein got Magician, it was like, holy fuck. Like, okay, he's strong now. But like the difference between 5 and 4 has got to be like, okay, he's a fucking demigod now. This is crazy. I should go for some physiotherapy now. I hope your stream doesn't finish before I come back. All right, sounds good, Dr. Z. See you in a bit. I should still be exponential growth, yeah. Maybe there isn't no. Fortunately, I'm good at finding things. Klein pointed with his cane and said, let's take a look over there and make it our final effort. All right, Aaron grasped for a breath of air. After a short walk, Aaron stopped and said, while pointing diagonally ahead, over there, over there. About a dozen meters away, a birch tree with a strip of bark around its trunk stripped off stood there quietly. Oh my god. As if it was waiting for them. It's identical to the one in my dream, Aaron said. Klein smiled and said with some vigilance, but there's no Will Auceptin. Aaron got close to the birch tree, frowned for a while, then he suddenly pointed to the side of the tree and said, back then Will was sitting here. He was pointing at the mud below him with his finger. Pointing at the mud below him? Do you want to dig it up? Aaron nodded. We've already found the place, so why not confirm what's here? Sherlock, go to the cemetery and borrow 2 shovels. It's better if I stay here. You go to the cemetery. It's better if I stay here. You go to the cemetery. I'm worried something might happen to you, Klein said cautiously. All right, Aaron didn't refuse, and immediately left the forest. After a while, after offering some money, he returned with 3 shovels and a tomb keeper, and they began to dig. While Klein was digging, he suddenly smelled something familiar. As the soil on the surface parted, the things below were gradually exposed. It was the body of a child that was already greatly rotten. His skin and flesh looked like they were about to melt, and many bugs crawled in and out of their nose and mouth. The shovel fell from Aaron's hand and hit the rock. He pointed to the leg of the corpse, his mouth moving frantically, but he was unable to say a word. Klein endured the nausea and discovered that the child's left leg was obviously missing its lower half. Aaron took 2 steps back and shouted sharply, "Will Auceptin." It was the corpse of Will Auceptin. When I was making a pathway, the sequence 7 and 6 were the parts I could start going crazy a little bit. 5 and above are just crazy, true crazy zones. Based. 403, The Fate of a Private Detective. That is not it. Yeah, I'm not as like worried about spoilers. Like I care about like big spoiler stuff. Like if someone tells me like, oh, like XYZ, like if someone when I was reading volume 1 told me that fucking old Neil died, I would have lost my fucking mind, right? But like small stuff, if like a little bit slips out or like someone tells me someone's whatever, like I'm okay. I don't like it, but like it doesn't viscerally affect like my reading of the novel, just because I don't really see it in the same way. Like because everyone oh my god, I'm actually having a stroke. If someone makes a lot of theories and is like really like out there with their theories, and someone constantly keeps giving them like tiny spoilers that shoot down those theories, it would really detract from their enjoyment of the novel, right? But because my reading is much more, I want to say, analytical. I don't mean that in like a really good way. I literally just mean like I'm incapable of making a lot of theories. Small stuff far out doesn't really bug me that much. Volume 1, if someone told you that Klein died, it wouldn't be a joke spoiler. True. Problem with those small ones is it encourages them to toe the line. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. He's dead? Will Auceptin is dead, and he's been dead for some time. Could this be a fake? Klein looked at the body of the child in surprise and suspicion as the thoughts bubbled in his mind. From what he knew, Will Auceptin was a special child who could have been involved with Sequence 1 of the monster pathway, Snake of Mercury, in some way. In the divination game he played, a casual doctor... in the divination game he played, a casual... Doctor, your luck will get worse, was enough to make Aaron suffer from bad luck for an extended period of time. The paper crane he folded allowed Aaron's astral projection to be located in the spirit world and instilled with artificial revelations. Even without a grey fog, even above the grey fog, Klein only received an inclination of the location and couldn't come to an effective conclusion. How could such a child die for no reason? He was dead before Dr. Aaron's dreams. What about the family? Average corpse collector. Klein narrowed his eyes, and despite the intense nausea, he carefully examined the highly rotten body and noticed some torn tarot cards in the surrounding soil. His spiritual intuition told him that the corpse in front of him was most likely Will Auceptin. It's, yeah, you know what, Nagito? Get that beyond her characteristic. Yeah, fuck it. It's really shocking and difficult to understand. If I should go above the grey fog later and confirm if it's a fake death. Wait, what does this have to do with me? I already decided not to get involved, in case I get entangled with some Snake of Mercury. This might be even more terrifying than the sealed artifact 008. Klein snapped out of the daze and said to the terrifying tomb keeper and Dr. Aaron, who was on the verge of a mental breakdown, "Call the police." Oh, okay. The tomb keeper was taken aback at first before he repeated his reply. With his shovel in hand, he turned and ran out of the woods at a speed so fast that it appeared as though he was being chased by a zombie. Bro, casually talking about a sequence 1? That's where we are now. Klein, because Klein is always punching up, right? So as he gets into mid, like when he was a low sequence, he was fighting or thinking about fighting mid sequences. Now that he's a mid sequence, he's thinking about fighting higher sequences. He can't yet, but you know, like that's eventually his plan. So Klein should as expected, he's just an ordinary person who isn't cautious at all. In this kind of situation, shouldn't he be wary of people around him who might have malicious intent? By exposing your back, it might be easy to be hit by a shovel. Klein looked at the tomekeeper and sighed. When he was a Nighthawk in Tinged, he read a lot of case files and found a lot of victims that ended up becoming a victim of their companions. Thinking of this, Klein walked to Dr. Aaron, bent down and stretched his hand. There's nothing to be afraid of. He's already dead. It's the death that scares me. Aaron calmed down a little, and without accepting Klein's help, he got up by himself. His black frock coat was covered with dirt, and Klein felt his heart pain for clothes for some baffling reason. I'm the kind of person who can't stand seeing anything valuable get damaged, he sighed. Dude, he said there's a child who died, and Klein is like, damn, that's a nice coat. He got it all muddy. He needs to get it dry cleaned now. Oof. Noticing that Aaron was still panicking, Klein laughed and said, at such times, praying to the deity you believe in has quite a remarkable effect. Is that so? Aaron was stunned. He tapped his chest in a clockwise manner and chanted, the Evernight Goddess stands higher than the cosmos and more eternal than eternity. Your devout believer prays for your blessing. After repeating this over and over, he gradually calmed down, no longer feeling as afraid as before. So interesting. So does that basically mean the Evernight Goddess is the head of one of the pathways, like the sleepless pathway probably? So like theoretically another god could kill her, like another sequence 0, like let's say of the, I don't know, whatever, of the seer pathway or whatever, could kill her. Because my interpretation of the reading is now that, given that what we were told about the ancient sun god last stream, or maybe the stream before, that in my mind implies that there was a ancient sun god, so someone of the Bard pathway, the sun pathway, who was a sequence 0. He then died by means of another sequence 0 or a couple sequence 0s, and then sometime later EBS came into being, another probably beyonder of that pathway who ascended to godhood. So could the Evernight Goddess just be killed? Like she's just, because like it's like the concept of gods dying is really weird and mindfucky for me, because like God means like infinite, and it means like undying, and it's like no, we can kill him, no problem. Klein drew a triangular sacred emblem on his chest and whispered to himself, God of steam and machinery, your completely unfaithful believer is begging for your blessings. As he spoke, he couldn't help but laugh to himself, suspecting that he might be smote to death by lightning on the spot. You saw how much it took to kill a mid-sequence? True. I'm not saying it would be easy, but like a sequence 0 or a couple of sequences, like the four of the, like what the fuck, the king of the War of the Four Emperors, or is that what it was called? War of the Four Emperors, right? So like if 3 of them ganged up on one of them, who let's say was let's say all 4 of them are of sequence 0s. They're probably not, but let's just assume, right? If they are, then if 3 of them ganged up on one of them, they could probably kill him. And then someone would eventually in time be able to become sequence 0 of that pathway then. Also, death was jumped by the 6 gods. True. But like, death is a weird one, because in my mind, like, and again, death could just be a name, but like in my mind, death is like a concept. It's not like really a god. Death is a fucking concept, because if the god of death died, theoretically everything should just stop dying. But of course that didn't happen, so hold on. After about 20 minutes, the two of them found themselves in an interrogation at a nearby police station. During the testimony, Klein frankly informed the police that he was a private detective who wasn't too sure what was happening. As for Dr. Aaron, he described his dream in detail and asked for as the reason for digging the body. Klein could tell that the police didn't believe in him at all, but after they had been gone for a while, they immediately changed their attitudes, saying that there was nothing suspicious about Dr. Aaron and Detective Moriarty. All they had to do was sign their statements and leave. Characteristics never get destroyed or created, only transferred. Oh, the law of beyonder characteristics, I guess. Conservation. I guess. Interesting. Yeah, I guess the concept of death can't die as long as the characteristic exists then. So, okay, that's fair. Okay, thank you. Klein could tell the police didn't believe him at all, but after they had gone out for a while, they immediately changed their attitudes, saying there was nothing suspicious about Dr. Aaron and Detective Moriarty. All they had to do was sign their statements and leave. Aaron was surprised, but Klein wasn't. It was obvious that the Nighthawks had been involved. The advantage of having the Doctor head to the Myriad Star Cathedral in advance was demonstrated. Before leaving the police station, Klein wasn't surprised to see a familiar figure. It was the Nighthawk who entered his dream earlier. The man on duty, who was probably a captain and was still wearing a grey trench coat, was obviously more resistant to the cold than Klein. His blue eyes swept past Klein's face without any sign of abnormality, pretending to be an ordinary inspector. No, Romero, I just need to start going back to the gym, because it's been 3 weeks I haven't been able to go, because I didn't go when I was there. So I was just, my body is not used to not going for so long, so I just have way less energy now. So I need to tomorrow, today in the afternoon, I have to go, and I have to get back in my routine, because otherwise I'm just gonna get more and more tired. It's just fucked. Klein, who was Klein, who was pretending to be an ordinary private detective, nudged his glasses, put on his hat, and left the station with Dr. Aaron in a carriage. After instructing the carriage driver to head to Minsk Street first, Aaron turned to Klein and said, "Sherlock, do you think this will be the end of it?" Interesting. Alright. No. I don't think it's just you, Romero. Okay. I think we should be back, though. I think it just went down for a quick sec. Okay, dope. Okay. To him, this was the best way he could end things with Will Auceptin's matter. Along with the paper crane that Klein had folded above the grey fog, it wouldn't reveal anything, and there would be no problems with any divinations afterwards. And he was still a little worried that some Nighthawk would suddenly think of something and use it to find some clues. And now, with the death of Will Auceptin, the case might actually reach a dead end, put into the archives, and temporarily declared a closed case. Coffee is acidic, bad for my... Oh, I see. Aaron relaxed and said suspiciously, "Frankly, I don't think my statement was very convincing. Why did the cops believe us in the end?" I don't know either. Klein feigned puzzlement and said, "I thought I'd have to get my lawyer to take me home again. No, bail me out." Aaron smirked and said, "Sherlock, you seem to have a lot of experience being sent to the police station." Klein laughed and said, "It's in the fate of every private detective." Just as Klein and Aaron were being taken to the police station near Grimm Cemetery, Forrest Wall was wearing a long black dress and a black bonnet with fine mesh hanging down. She entered the silent cemetery and found the grave of Mrs. Alyssa. She and Geo had gone to the Empress Burrow to visit Viscount Glaint and successfully gotten a verbal agreement of borrowing £400 without interest. Viscount Glaint's only request was that the two Beyonders accompany him to the gathering Mr. A would convene tonight to ensure his safety. He was anxious to procure a royal jellyfish venom's crystal so that he could complete the concoction of the apothecary potion. Audrey had found the horn of an adult flying unicorn in the family treasury, and she had taken one out in the name of doing biological experiments. effectively offsetting part of her debt. Very clever. $40,000, no interest is crazy. Yeah, but like to Viscount Glen, it's like worth like $7. Like who gives a fuck? She had also put forward an additional condition for Viscount Glen to get the help of Duke Negan's children to confirm if the dragon specimens in the treasury had a thousand-faced hunter and whether there were still light dots flashing inside. Giant isn't even see. Glen doesn't even sequence 9. Bro's, he's a bum. Well, he's also richer. He's also possibly like richer than Audrey, because Audrey's borrowing money from that guy. And that guy is chilling. So I mean, so like that guy's rich as fuck. So call him a loser or whatever, but he ain't a bum. When the loan was settled, Forbes was in no hurry to pay Mr. Fool to close the deal as quickly as possible, because it would make Gio intuitively turn suspicious if things developed too quickly. Taking advantage of her free time, she changed her clothes and rented a horse carriage to get to Grimm Cemetery, which was located on the outskirts of the West Borough. Knowing the law of Beyonder characteristics, conservation, and indestructibility, Forbes realized that the main ingredient that turned her into an apprentice was the Beyonder characteristic left behind by Mrs. Alyssa. In a way, she had inherited her powers. No, you ate her powers. You ate her. God, people are so chill with fucking cannibalism in this. What is this? She's borrowing money because she used all the available ones. She just isn't used to. She hasn't used his regular fund. Well, yeah, he might be richer than Audrey. Well, exactly. I think he's richer than Audrey. I'm not saying he's richer than Audrey's family. I'm not saying he's richer than Earl Hall, but I'm saying like he's a rich fucking guy, dude. Well, Nagato, those two things are like, yes, a net worth is cool, but you know what's cooler? Fucking liquidity, okay? Therefore, she couldn't help but pay a visit and put a bouquet of flowers in front of Mrs. Alyssa's grave to thank her. It was early winter, and most of the flowers had long since withered, but Forbes bought a handful of plain flowers. These were grown in a greenhouse and quite expensive. Thank you, Emperor Roselle, for your invention. Fuck you. Roselle invented greenhouses too. As far as she knew, most of the flowers that the nobles used for the winter banquets came from greenhouses, while a tiny portion were delivered directly from the warm south by airships. Standing in front of the black tombstone, Forrest took a deep breath before bending down to lay down the flowers and whispering, "Thank you." She immediately straightened up, closed her eyes, and recalled the past. At this moment, she heard a slightly aged voice. "You truly are a good and kind-hearted lady." Forrest opened her eyes and turned her head to realize that Mr. Lawrence from the Abraham family had also appeared at the same time. He was also holding a bouquet of plain but elegant flowers. "No, this isn't goodness, nor is it kindness. Mrs. Alyssa once gave me a person who had lost her mother an unforgettable period of warmth." Her eyes were moist. Lawrence, who had wrinkles at the corners of his eyes, put down the flowers and sighed. "This shows that you truly value relationships." After chatting for a while, when Forbes was about to leave, Lawrence, who was waving her goodbye, suddenly began to cough violently. He coughed until his legs buckled and he fell to the ground. It seemed as if he would die at any moment from suffocation. Does he have tuberculosis? What the fuck? As a doctor, Forrest didn't hesitate to turn around and begin performing first aid. After a while, Lawrence's condition stabilized, and he said, "Lady, can you take me back to the hotel?" "No problem." Forrest helped him to his feet. Lawrence looked ahead, his eyes a little out of focus. He coughed lightly and said with a sad, self-deprecating smile, "My life might be coming to an end." Oh my god, kill him! Take his Beyonder characteristic! Yeah, fuck him! Yeah. God, I'm a bad person. I apologize. $404. And trust. Makes sense, you are a criminal? Yeah, I don't give a shit, dude. Kill him, take his characteristic, give it to Mr. Fool in exchange for the character, the characteristic for Gio, and pocket the money. Holy shit, I'm a genius. She just made 600 pounds. Fuck yeah. Wait, no, she made way more. Because she keeps the 600, no. She makes 600 pounds. Based. Fuck that, yeah. Westboro, Carl Pensa Hotel. Forrest helped Lawrence into his room and laid him down on the bed. It was a rather luxurious hotel with thick, soft, grayish-yellow carpets everywhere except for the washroom. On the walls hung imitations of famous oil paintings. Lawrence gasped for air and said, "Thank you, Miss Wall. Please forgive a dying man for not being able to bow." "No, Mr. Lawrence, your problem has eased. As a former doctor, I can tell you without a doubt you can still live. After some rest, we'll go to a clinic or a hospital." Lawrence smiled. "I know my physical condition very well. You don't have to comfort me. Besides, I'm an amateur astrologer. I already had a premonition that I'm going to die in this hotel in Backland." Yeah, dude. She should steal their sealed artifacts. Dude, if she could find out where they are, sell that information to Mr. Fool's adorer. Holy shit. Klein would just walk in with that skeleton key, steal all of it, have one of the 4 great houses behind him, and just be chilling. Now he has really become the fool. Hey, a slightly focused chapter. Time to send a fuck ton of art. Nice. Apart from the superficial concealment, everything he said was true. He was already close to 80, and he was no longer that robust and spirited young man from before. If it was not for the sequence potions that elevated his constitution, he might have already been buried. Originally, Lawrence thought he could live for another 10 years, but who would have thought that he would encounter a rebellion caused by the former traveler Botus? He suffered relatively serious injuries at the hands of the Aurora Order, and his remaining descendants all died from that disaster. This dealt him a great blow, and he didn't manage to recover from it. The search for his brothers and descendants in Backland had only resulted in him receiving news of their deaths, dealing him a significant blow to his mental health once again. Compounded by all these things, Lawrence was clearly aware that his life was coming to an end. "Devil, how's it going, man?" His initial plan was to return to the graves of Lobero and Alyssa again and present the bouquet of flowers. He would then return immediately, meet with another member of the Elder Council to set things in order before his death. But as an elderly man, his condition was beyond his control. Without waiting for a response from Fours, Lawrence struggled to retrieve a palm-sized notebook from inside of his half-open coat. Could that notebook be a sealed artifact? Could it be the Death Note? Without waiting for a response from Fours, Lawrence struggled. Whatever. The hard paper cover of the notebook was bronze green, giving off a very ancient feeling. On its face, the words "I came, I saw, I record" was written in ancient Fasak. Jesus. Lawrence placed the notebook on the quilt in front of his chest and took a deep breath. "Miss Walls, if I die here, can you send this to Pritz Harbor? Mr. Lawrence, you will be just fine." At the same time, she subconsciously glanced at the notebook and found it wasn't thick at all. There were a total of 3 types of paper inside, which was one was a yellow type of parchment, the other was yellow brownish goat skin, and the last was ordinary white paper. Lawrence laughingly said with great difficulty, "I mean, Miss Fours, will you help? Pritz Harbor isn't far away, not even a trip. If it can be rushed, then I can make the round trip in half a day by taking the steam locomotive," Fours nodded. Lawrence breathed a sigh of relief as his mind seemed to recover a little. "After I die, wait 10 minutes, Retrieve the glowing object from my body and send it along with a notebook to Dorian Gray. The 42 pounds in cash in my wallet will be my reward and gratitude. As for these clothes of mine, let it turn to ash along with me. No, you don't need to give me anything. No, you'll be fine, Mr. Lawrence, Forrest said earnestly. As if he hadn't heard her, Lawrence whispered to himself, maybe Dorian will give you additional rewards, but it depends on you. I believe you. From Aulis's matter, I can tell that you are a good person. He suddenly seemed to turn lucid and said, Miss Wall, can you go down to the first floor and bring me a jug of water? I don't know when the waiter will come over. Oh, and while she's gone, he's gonna die. It was cancelled. If I knew God was listening, I would have asked for more. Wait, why are you happy? Physiotherapy is good. I mean, I don't know what you need it for, but either way, like it's good. It helps you. It helps you, maintain good functionality and stuff. What are you talking about? To the person named Devil, if this person isn't here, then take the powers from this imposter. Remember when Mr. A assassinated that guy? Mr. A used the power that made a chant. I saw I record. Oh, yes. Oh. No, it makes me feel like an upside down insect that's been beaten up. Jesus Christ. Don't get me wrong, I have really bad memories of physiotherapy myself, but but it is helpful as much as it sucks in the moment. After taking a few steps without thinking, she suddenly felt something was amiss. The water jug in her hand was heavy, and there was obviously a lot of water in it. Just as she was about to turn around and ask, she sensed a strong fluctuation of spirituality in the air. That was... For a moment, Forrest froze. She understood what Mr. Lawrence was trying to do. As death approached, he could clearly sense that something was wrong with his body. He was afraid of losing control and turning into a monster. He wanted to die as a human, not a monster, so he chose to end his own life. That was the last form of decency for a Beyonder. Of course, if he turned into a monster, all his plans would have been for naught. With this in mind, Forrest became dejected. She waited outside for nearly 10 minutes. Before she pushed open the door and entered. She saw Lawrence lying silently on the bed, looking like he had aged considerably. Beside him was a diamond the size of an eye. Khaled, how's it going, man? How you doing? The light which shone in through the window was constantly refracted by the diamond, forming a scene as beautiful as the radiance of the stars. Forrest sighed and performed a careful examination. She found that Lawrence's cause of death was the most ordinary form of cardiac arrest. Sherwoodboro, 15 Minsk Street. Klein rested for a while after getting home, and then went above the grey fog to divine the situation with Will Auceptin. He used the paper crane. He made the paper crane. Oh my fucking god! He made the paper crane fly out of the paper trash pile in the corner and made it land on the long bronze table. Then he took out the topaz pendant and held the spirit pendulum in his left hand. He used cogitation to recall the scene he had seen in the woods. He may not have recalled some details, but it was certain that his spirituality wouldn't miss any. This divination was about using the point and relying on the grey fog to eliminate all distractions. Klein then took out a goatskin parchment and wrote the statement, Will Auceptin is completely dead. Then he pressed the paper crane to the divination statement, almost causing a topaz pendant to touch the words. After entering a state of cogitation and completing all the steps of the spirit dowsing, Klein opened his eyes and looked at the result. The pendant was rotating clockwise at fast frequency and high amplitude. It was a negative result, meaning that Will Auceptin wasn't completely dead. Klein was surprised, but it seemed to be within his expectations. He then thought for a moment and changed the statement to that corpse was Will Auceptin's. This time, the spirit pendulum gave a positive result. The body was indeed Will's. So I guess that leads to two possibilities. Either Will Auceptin resurrects like Klein did, or his body is dead, but he used the words, is he completely dead? So like his body might be dead, but his spirit might be alive in the spiritual plane or something, maybe? An idea came to Klein's mind. Okay, never mind. He wrote a divination statement. Will Auceptin's corpse will resurrect. After a few moments of calmly performing the divination, Klein saw the revelation. The pendant was rotating counterclockwise. This meant that Will's corpse wouldn't resurrect, or, in other words, no reanimations. Did you guess his sequence? Who is he? Wills? No, I have no idea about Wills. It looks like Will had voluntarily or was forced to abandon his previous body and is surviving another way. This matter has something to do with the Snake of Mercury. Klein tried to divine additional information but kept failing, including the statement Will Auceptin's present statement. However, he repeated the divination using dream divination and inquired Will Auceptin's current location, and received a similar scene, a dark room with the sound of running water. Lyola, how's it going? Will we gamble again? If there's something that warrants it, I'm not opposed to it, but I also don't know. I don't like to do it just for the sake of doing it. You know what I mean? There's got to be a reason for it. As much as I love gambling, and Lord knows, and well, you guys know that I do, but you know, there's got to be a reason for it. We can't just go. It is sacred, okay? You don't just do it for nothing. There needs to be stakes. However, the feeling it gave him was a little different. Forget it. There's no need to waste any more time on this. I'm not planning to get involved anyway. Klein put away his spirit pendulum and prepared to return to the real world. Truth. Okay. Ethical gambler. I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but I'm a spiritual gambler. Let's go with that. I feel like that's much more fitting. Forget it. There's no need to waste any more time on this. I'm not planning to get involved anyway. Through the prior divination and everything that had happened, he had a theory about Will Auceptin, but he couldn't confirm it. He suspected that Will Auceptin was another Snake of Mercury. As a sequence 1, a Snake of Mercury wasn't the only one. There could be up to 3 in existence at the same time. It is crazy how Assassin got to the last round. I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, I know it can't be this. Why does it keep fucking doing this? The Snake of Fate, who wielded destiny naturally, could locate Aaron's astral projection through the paper crane and show him false revelations. Without a doubt, it also had the ability to change a person's fate. I have not. No, Dr. Z. For some reason, Will had become weak and was under the threat of the second Snake of Mercury. Everything he did was to escape his counterpart. As for the reason for their conflict, the answer was simple. Without a sequence 0, there can be 3 sequence 1s, but once there was a sequence 0, there would be no sequence 1s. FQ, how's it going? Regarding this statement, the formula of the Black Emperor potion clearly stated the truth. One of the primary ingredients of the recipe was 2 beyonder characteristics of a Prince of Abolition. The Prince of Abolition was sequence 1 of the Black Emperor pathway. As a sequence 1, if one wanted to advance to 0, they would have to obtain all the beyonder characteristics of the other 2 sequence 1s of the same pathway. That is crazy. Actual Battle Royale. With this guess in mind, Klein was increasingly afraid of getting involved with Will Auceptin's case. If my deduction is correct, it would be a genuine fight between deities, and I can't afford to get involved. Klein's spirituality descended and he disappeared from the ancient palace above the grey fog. Wait, okay. This might be wrong, but then theoretically, if we're assuming there's 2 Snake of Mercuries, there can be 3. So could the high sequence beyonder that's with Leonard be a Snake of Mercury? Interesting. I mean, it could be literally any of the other pathways too. It's like the only sequence one I know, or I know like two sequence ones, or like so very small, narrow space there. But divination time. Is the high sequence beyonder with Leonard a Snake of Mercury? Tails. No, he's not. We're fine. Okay, well, worth a try, right? I don't know what the fuck Amon is. I don't know. Amon could be, but I know he like obviously that person said that Amon was his enemy. But I mean, Amon could be a Snake of Mercury, I guess, but he doesn't seem like a person who controls fate very much. Wait, I can't remember. What were my guesses for? I'll have to look it up later, but Amon is the guy's arch enemy. Yeah, I know that. But I don't know. In Empress Burrow, in an inconspicuous house, the Beyonder gathering organized by Mr. A proceeded as scheduled. Forrest and Geo changed their clothes and they accompanied Viscount Glane, who was wearing an iron black mask, into the hall, and they randomly chose a seat and sat down. Viscount Glane wrote down his needs to the attendants before the gathering began, and he also prayed to the goddess that there would be a response. As usual, Forrest maintained her usual languidness, and in a rare instance covered herself with a hood, concealing her face with shadows. She was thinking about the situation with Mr. Lawrence, and she clearly knew what the size of an eye was. It was the Beyonder characteristic left behind by him. But for the time being, she was unable to confirm what sequence it was. Forrest casually flipped through the notebook only to find the pages were still blank. The written context was in all sorts of odd, strange symbols and magic labels, exceeding whatever she knew. What it is isn't important. What's important is that I keep my promise to myself. At this moment, Mr. A, who was seated on a single sofa and was wearing an exaggerated hood, said hoarsely, "I have a mission. Help me find people who believe in the so-called fool." Huh? Forrest snapped back to her senses immediately. The Fool? What a dumb name. No one would go by that. That's silly. You know what? Don't even worry about it, Mr. A. You know what? You're the goat. You're God. He's lying to you, okay? We get some snacks, be right back. No problem. It's over. It's over for you, devil. It's over. Oof. Okay. The Fool. The Beyonders who attended Mr. A's gathering were either ruminating over the phrase or conversed with their companions to discuss whether they had met anyone of a similar fate. When did such a cult appear? Someone asked. At this moment, Mr. A made the attendant beside him hold up a blackboard with a few lines. The fool that doesn't belong to this era, the mysterious ruler above the grey fog, the king of yellow who wields good luck. As the attendees examined the blackboard, Mr. A said, "Do not use Hermes to read what is written here. Even more so for Jotun, Elvish, Dragonese, or Ancient Hermes. You shouldn't even write the corresponding description, or there's a high probability something terrible will happen. Help me find believers in the Fool. Of course, they may be believers of the mysterious ruler above the grey fog, or the king of yellow and black. As long as there's a clue, inform me, and the reward I'll provide will be so handsome that it will exceed your expectations. This description, it sounds like an incredible existence. I've only seen similar descriptions in the ancient texts of the 7 gods, members exclaimed. His companion shook his head. The beings which many cults believe in have similar descriptions. Is this really a cult? The member gatherings were stunned. Likely. Typically, when we summon a creature from the spirit world, we might have 3 lines describing it, but one of the lines would be about the blessed one of someone, or the one that belongs to. It shouldn't be in this format. The gathering member, who is well versed in mysticism, gave an explanation. Klein planning to sell himself? Yeah, he's like, oh my god, I don't know who that guy is. All I do know, and then he just sends down his seraphim just to scare everyone. He's like, nah, bitch, don't try me. I love how the rituals have a format. I know. Isn't that the honorific name of Mr. Fool? Even though it's described in the lone language, I'm sure of it. Why would Mr. A want to find believers of Mr. Fool? Is the Aurora Order behind this? Forge's mind was in a mess. After a brief, she knew that Mr. A was a member of the Aurora Order because of a particular terrorist organization had announced its responsibility for the assassination of the ambassador. Klein is going to do the Spider-Man move? Yeah. I just recited the name of the honorific fool according to the ancient Hermes on that piece of paper and was pulled above the grey fog. No one knows about this, and I don't have to be afraid of being investigated. But if there's a link to that piece of paper with Mr. Fool's honorific name, it was hidden in a book we borrowed from the Viscount. The fool that doesn't belong to this era, isn't that the description I saw? I even dreamed of an evil spirit. At the same time, Gio remembered the incident that frightened her, but her long experience as a bounty hunter had kept her from revealing anything unusual. And then, as she recalled, she thought of the origin of the piece of paper. It was hidden in the bookcase History of the Lone Kingdom's Aristocracy, the book that we borrowed from Viscount Glaint. Suddenly, a name flashed in both Forge's and Gio's mind, Viscount Glaint. At that moment, the Viscount was looking at the blackboard and said, "The honorific name is very rare, but it sounds very impressive." Just a little bit. Nightwalker, I think we started exactly an hour ago. I'm pretty sure most people didn't even know it was a reference. Just as he finished his sentence, he looked to his side in puzzlement, asking Gio and Forge, "Why are you looking at me like that?" "Nothing," they both replied. After dinner in an elegantly decorated room, Audrey brought the huge golden retriever, Susie, into the living room under the guidance of her teacher, Escalante, who was attending her academic meeting they agreed upon last week. Her maid and bodyguard stayed behind while they were Her maid and bodyguard stayed behind while she walked with Susie into a spacious activity room. In the activity room, be it for the atmosphere or some other reason, the gas lamps were not lit. The room was lit by gold-plated candle lamps on the coffee ground and cupboards. Before Audrey could take a good look at her surroundings, she saw a gentleman in his 30s, walking towards her. He wore a grey tailcoat. "This is the owner of the shop, Mr. Stephen Hampers, a furniture merchant," Escalante introduced. She was just about to tell him Audrey's identity when Hampers chuckled and said, "Escalante, don't say anything. Let me have a chance at guessing." He had a neatly trimmed mustache and charming brown eyes. He appeared very elegant and gentle, nothing like the furniture merchant, but more like a university lecturer. After seriously sizing up Audrey a few times, he smiled and said, "Escalante only mentioned you were her student. I believe you are a cultured noble lady, and you aren't someone who only looks good. There's no need for you to worry about a decline in the quality of your life. You're a little excited, very curious, and relatively simple, but also full of love. Now that I think about it, if she does join the Psychology Alchemist, they would probably give her Sequence 9 potion of her own pathway, which would just make her stronger, right? That'd be based. Proof. He made a final joke, pressed his hand to his chest, and bowed. Welcome, the beautiful Miss Angel. You're right, as expected of a member of the Psychology Alchemist, but what you managed to observe from me was from a few months ago. It's all a facade I've put over myself. Did you know me before, Mr. Hampers? Audrey opened her mouth in surprise and astonishment. She didn't let her shocked expression would increase the chances of losing control. Yeah, but considering that she's already fully digested the potion of 9 and is like really decently across into digesting 8, her chances of losing control would be very minimal. Like, Captain Dunn had how many Beyonder characteristics of the same pathway? He'd be fine. Wait, hold on. Sorry, I just thought of this. Okay, if a higher sequence Beyonder of the same pathway can consume characteristics of the lower sequence of the same pathway, doesn't that destroy the characteristics? Or does oh, holy fuck. The fact that Dunn had like 3 or 4 of the 9 or 8 characteristics of his own pathway, does that mean that when he died, like all of them spawned when he died? Or did just one come out from Dunn and we just lost 3 or 4? They combine? Well, if they combine, then they lost a couple, no? Characters add and they combine. So then we... Yeah, but then conservation is like... They all come out, but they'll be hard to separate. Yeah, they may have all the powers, Nightwalker, but it does mean that there will be less Beyonders of that pathway in the future then, no? The ones that are might be stronger, I'll grant you that. You would have a characteristic equivalent of 4 sequence 9s. There are ways to separate them, but it's very hard to separate. But they are separate parts. Oh, okay, dope. Thank you. She didn't let the shocked expression linger too long in her face, because such emotions were meant to be instantaneous and wouldn't last long. If anyone were to be surprised for several seconds, then it meant that their performance was most likely an act. Audrey didn't know this at first, but after watching others act all the time, she naturally came up with a lot of rules. No, I still don't know you. It's just the basics of a psychology enthusiast, Hampers chuckled. Before he could even finish his sentence, Audrey had already completed her observation and made a corresponding judgment based on her surroundings. His attire and furnishings of the house indicate he's a person who cares deeply about how he's viewed. The sapphire on the ring of his left hand doesn't look small, but its actual quality is very ordinary. There are no symbols or magic labels on it. His finances aren't as good as he presents. He's vain. Yes, I'm sorry everyone can't be as rich as you, Audrey, goddamn. Even though he's very enthusiastic till now, the way he stands there, the direction of in which his feet point, and the changes in his emotional colors all indicate that he has many concerns and is on his guard. City of Silver has ways of separating them. Little son that their divine artifacts can do it. Oh, based. Sequence 8 has a sequence of characters. Itself can be separated with some methods. Oh, dope. Okay. The black eye has sequence lowers than 5-2, and it might have more than one of each. Okay, true. Like if someone used a sequence 4 characteristic from someone they killed as their potion, they would be drinking a full set of... Oh, true, Ramiro. But Klein said that this was like a thing that they did in the past, but like your chance of losing control were incredibly high, right? Like if someone was a non-Beyonder and just came across a Beyonder characteristic of a sequence 7 and he just popped it, he would just most likely just lose control on the spot. He sincerely commended me on my looks, but it wasn't in the way a man looks at a woman. There are signs of him using facial products, and his eyebrows are definitely drawn. His skills are inferior to my makeup servant, Solia, but they're definitely better than mine. The cologne he uses is Confusion, something that I've only seen women use. Yes, he probably likes women. And the role he plays is the weaker one in the relationship. She just called him a twink. Oh, that's so hard. Oh, that's so good. At the same time, Audrey expressed her longing skillfully. I'd love to have your observational powers, Mr. Hampers. If they do the ritual right, that'll be fine. Oh, based. Okay, the thing is they did that in the past. The thing they did in the past is they wouldn't make potions. They would just raw dog random characteristics. They come across a characteristic and they're like, looks yummy. Go. As she spoke, she maintained a faint smile while being introduced to the other 7 or 8 people in the activity room. The lovers of both mysticism and psychology were either descendants of fallen aristocrats, associate professors, or the children of the rich. For example, the father of a young man was the owner of the Phillips department store, the most famous department store in Backland. In the exchange that followed, Audrey basically only listened. The only time she spoke was by asking questions. In this academic discussion, Escalante and Hampers deliberately mentioned the body of the heart and mind, as well as the spirit world and the collective consciousness. They also shared some relatively unique point of views, allowing Audrey to gradually understand some of the questions she accumulated over time. When the discussion ended and they were out of the house, Audrey glanced at Escalante beside her and asked, Miss Escalante, will I be good in psychology? Will I be as good in psychology as Mr. Hampers? Escalante curled the corners of her lips and tilted her head as she looked at her. Very soon. At night, Klein, who was about to get into bed, once again appeared above the grey fog. Despite being a little sleepy, he was jolted awake by the news Miss Magician reported. The Aurora Order knows of the Fool. They know my honorific name. The true creator has locked on to me? Klein abruptly sat up as though he was about to face an attack. He quickly rejected the final theory. If the true creator had indeed locked on to him, Mr. A would have long visited him on the pretext of collecting a copper penny for the gas meter. Perhaps even a saint might appear. That is to say, only the Fool and his corresponding name are known, and the clues point to Backland. Who leaked the news? Then he discovered a possibility. Little Son recently chanted my name, and it happened to be interacting with a member of the exploratory team corrupted by the true creator. He held a sacrificial ritual, and there were likely symbols corresponding to the Fool at the scene. The ancient palace above the grey fog appeared. So the true creator sensed the existence of the Fool and confirmed I was the one who had been sacrilegious. No. Harassing. No, that's not right either. Spying on him. Also, Little Son used the all-black eye at the time, which contains the mental corruption of the true creator. Through that, he confirmed that my blessed and believers are in Backland. I can't take the all-black eye out in the future. Having roughly understood the problem, Klein was left with another problem. Mr. A announced the bounty for Mr. A's believers at a not-so-private, relatively open Beyonder gathering. Is he dumb or just fishing? Well, Mr. A's been shown to just be out of his fucking mind, so, The Aurora Order members are all bigoted lunatics. Their minds are mostly damaged, so it's impossible to deduce their intentions. This is as the saying goes, as long as I'm crazy, you won't be able to guess what I'm thinking. Based. Audrey would summarize that you are in the weaker role when you are with Trissy. That's so good. Sag. Well, hey, more slander on my homies? Might I suggest rethinking the company you keep, man? Above the grey fog, the magnificent palace stood silently. Klein drummed his fingers rhythmically at the edge of the long bronze table, concentrating on what he could do in the face of the threat, the Aurora Order, and Mr. A. While having a hard time figuring out the other party's intentions, he came up with an idea. Report Mr. A. Report the illegal gatherings. Klein could very easily learn of the location where Mr. A held the gatherings through Miss Magician, and be able to easily report it to the Nighthawks, Punishers, or Hive Mind in secret. An Oracle of the Aurora Order was bound to garner attention. When that happens, Mr. A's safety would probably be at risk, so he wouldn't have time or effort to track down the fool. No one understands my devotion to the Lord? Might I recommend thinking of a different lord who's not seen as a fucking lunatic by everyone? The problem, however, was that this was bound to implicate a group of innocent Beyonders, and Klein suspected that this was the reason why Mr. A directly offered a reward for the believers of the Fool. Perhaps he long planned and escaped, and once someone reports him, he'd be able to confirm without a doubt that the Fool's believers were among the previous gathering members. As for who it was, that wasn't important. Mr. A and the other lunatics were definitely capable of taking exhaustive measures. And once these Beyonders fell into their hands, many of them would be unable to hide their secrets. The Aurora Order, or the Shepherd Pathway, which represented their true creator, are the best at corrupting others. When their ideology of a Beyonder was completely twisted and once they believed in the true creator wholeheartedly, who else could be kept a secret? If I were to do a clap. That's crazy, Dr. Z. Okay. It's not like there's no other way. It's best not to report it. Klein leaned back in his chair, collected his thoughts, and reorganized the entire matter. As he was thinking, he suddenly realized there were no believers or blessed of the Fool in this world. Even the Terror Club had only a few members, and no one divulged the relevant information. In other words, they won't be able to find any clues. There's nothing to worry about. The only bad outcome is that the Fool is now targeted. Although being targeted by an evil god isn't a pleasant feeling, it basically doesn't affect anything else. He had thought about it very closely, and the only flaw in this matter was that once he used the title of the Fool written in the ancient Hermes as a password for the anonymous account. However, with the sacrifice and bestowment having proven useful, the account had been long abandoned and long since been forgotten. Since the past month and a half, no one had been noticed by Klein for copying the password, so it was possible to deduce the actual situation. As such, bank employees who had been in contact with the password but apparently don't understand mysticism wouldn't reveal it to anyone. Hold on, the music just finished. Okay. I will join Church of Wisdoms. I know I can conquer at a university. Ugh. Nerd. I agree, Nagato. No, to be honest, it's probably where I would thrive most as well. But if I had this castle or this palace or whatever that Klein has, I could probably do some dope shit. I feel like. If anyone had copied it down, I'd be the first to know and be able to respond effectively. Besides, if someone finds the password, it'd be difficult to trace it back to Sherlock. I use a variety of means every time. Miss Justice is also sufficiently careful when saving money. When wrapping the table, Klein relaxed and said with a chuckle, "You believe that the fool has many blessed and believers, and that this would result in many clues that cannot be hidden." Wrong, especially wrong. There's only one beyonder and blessed of the fool, and that's me. When he said that, he couldn't help but laugh a little. It doesn't seem like something I should be proud of. I need to be a little careful for the time being. I shouldn't go around using the banner of the fool. He adjusted his posture and replied to Miss Magician's prayers. "Don't worry about it." Have you heard of our Lord and Savior, the Hidden Sage? Fuck that guy. He killed old Neil, okay? Ah, fuck that guy. Don't worry about it. When Forrest received the answer, she was surprised, but also felt it was only right. In the eyes of Mr. Fool, the Aurora Order are nothing but ants. Maybe, but the fucking true creator ain't. Forrest once again recited the honorific name in a low voice and asked, "Mr. Fool, which existence does the Aurora Order believe in?" The Fool then sat back in his chair and leisurely said, "The true creator." The true creator. Forrest's eyes widened as she instantly understood why Mr. A sought out the believers of the Fool. With the help of the Tarot Club, the Sun Youth in the City of Silver successfully exposed the abnormality of the exploration team and thwarted the true creator's ploy. Behind this incident is a confirmation and struggle that between Mr. Fool and the true creator. Forrest didn't ask any further, and she quickly recounted the meeting with the members of the Abraham family. She also mentioned Lawrence's will, the strange notebook, and the beyonder characteristic left behind. "Honorable Mr. Fool, what should I do?" She asked for advice. I will say, Forrest, like everyone else, everyone has such actual contrasting personalities that it's actually cool to see. Like right now, there's 4 members of the Tarot Club. 5 if you count the world, but whatever, right? Alger, who probably now views Mr. Fool as probably stronger than anyone else does, but he's also really hesitant of him. He feels like he's an evil existence, and he's like, I will use him as a means to an end, but like I don't want to deal with him any more than I have to. He's like he doesn't ever reach out to him. He's just like, listen, I will trade and whatever, I'll get information, but he's super on guard. Audrey, who's coming more and more into her own, but is super respectful and is like, hey, like this person is super strong, and like the whole one does not look at God thing. Like she's really respectful and really careful in how she's dealing with the Fool. Sun, on the other hand, sees him all but like a mentor. The Sun is like, whether you want to call him foolish or whether you want to call him naive, he sees Mr. Fool as like a damn near all good being, and so he'll reach out to him at any point if he needs help, and he's like, hey, how do I go about it? And he sees Alger in like a similar way. Like he sees him as like so unbelievably helpful, even though everyone else sees Alger as kind of like a dick to the Sun, because the Sun is so the Sun was so open when he first came out, and he didn't try to hide anything. He didn't try to keep any secrets. He didn't try to like say, oh, I'm not going to give you this information unless you pay me. Alger eventually just warmed up to him and is now actually unironically helping him. And as for Forrest, she still believes he might be an evil existence, but as far as she's concerned, he saved her. Like she said a little while back that anything past that time that the Fool saved me is gravy, because like I was gonna lose control and die that day. So like now she'll reach out, like she's probably like the most or second most loyal to the Fool. Like, she would never possibly betray him. I don't know, in my mind, it would probably go like Sun and then her. But like, she is so on, like, for her, like, whatever he needs, she's there for, because she's like, without him, I would be dead. So even if he's evil, I'm here because of him. So it's interesting. Yes, they can use me as a servant for the acting method. Okay, thanks for that. Okay. What should you do? Miss Magician really is lucky. Why haven't I encountered such a good thing? Klein responded with a chuckle. Follow the desires in your heart. He wasn't the least bit worried about Dorian Gray from Pitt's Harbor, and that he would harm Miss Magician, because he knew that she had 2 more stones in her bracelet, allowing her to teleport to the spirit world twice. Follow the desires in my heart? I understand. Thank you, Mr. Fool. She decided to buy a steam locomotive ticket tomorrow. Using this mode of transportation, it would take a little more than an hour to get from Backland to Pitt's Harbor, or maybe less. After reporting everything, Forrest requested to hold a sacrificial and bestowment ritual. After receiving a positive response, she exchanged £600 for the sheriff beyond her characteristic. Holding up the fist-shaped object comprised of black iron, dark red and silver colors, as well as a beautiful spiritual radiance, Forrest felt joy and admiration. Gio had long gathered the supplementary ingredients that she would soon need to be promoted to Sequence 8, and I don't know when I'll become a trick master. I hope Mr. Hangman and the others can help me find the appropriate ingredients as soon as possible. Gio has subconsciously been acting as an arbiter, so she didn't have to worry about the digestion of the Sequence 9, but as soon as she becomes a sheriff, what does she do? Should I ask for permission from the Fool to teach her the acting method, or simply suggest that she sneak into the police force? At the end of the long model table, Klein looked at the thick stack of cash in front of him and carefully counted it several times. This is like the other funny part of it, right? Like, where Forrest is like seeing him as a godlike figure. Klein is sitting there up there and going 20, 40, 60, and he's doing this, and he's spending like an hour up there. And he's like, I need to know exactly how much money I have. Through this method, I would have 1,230 pounds. I would still be short 300 to obtain a single Sequence 6 Beyonder ingredient. Of course, 1,500 is the bare minimum, and the actual transaction price is usually much higher. Where else can I get money these days? As soon as the bicycle patent is granted, should I sell a portion of my shares? No, you dumb fuck. Hold on to it. Yes, I almost forgot how special the Tarot Club is. The werewolf Beyonder characteristic can't be sold in Backland for now, so as to avoid being discovered by a high sequence Beyonder of the Rose School of Thought, but I can always sell it somewhere else. I'll let the world entrust it to Mr. Hanged Man to sell it to Sonia C. I'll offer a corresponding amount of commission as his reward. After subtracting the costs, the Beyonder characteristic should get me at least 1,000. That'll be plenty for a single Sequence 6 Beyonder ingredient. Klein came up with an idea and decided upon it. He found it a little regrettable that Miss Gio didn't seem to have much money. After she became a sheriff, she could quickly digest the potion, and it would still be a while for her to buy the interrogator Beyonder characteristic, and if the Abraham family were to take interest in Miss Magician, his subsequent astrologer potion formula would be no longer marketable. What a pity. Klein returned to the real world. I have an artwork where the Tarot Club members are dressed as gangsters. Wednesday morning, Klein didn't suffer from insomnia due to being targeted by the true creator in the Aurora Order's pursuit. He slept till daybreak and happily went to buy out a Desi pie for breakfast. There was no doubt that the Desi pie required sweet iced tea to match it. As he enjoyed the food and flipped through the newspaper, he discovered the advertisement for the Ernst firm and discovered that there would be a Beyonder gathering conveyed by the Eye of Wisdom tomorrow. This time, I'll be able to request to purchase the relevant Beyonder ingredients, but there's a high chance it wouldn't be available. Even if there is something, it'll be supplementary ingredients like the hair of the deep-sea naga. Wait, I think I have wait, I think I have one artwork where the Tarot Club members are dressed as gangsters. Oh, the Peaky the Peaky Blinders. He spread out his left hand and counted with his fingers. From the Tarot Club, there are the outlets of the Little Sun, Hanged Man, Miss Justice, and the rest. Beyond that, I have the Eye of Wisdom Gathering, Miss Bodyguard, and Merrick, but I shouldn't contact them if possible for the time being. Yes, I have Vampire Emlin White. Didn't he mention that he would write to ask for some powerful sanguines? That's what social connections can bring. Coming to this thought, Klein immediately decided to go to the Harvest Church to wait for Emlin White. Although it was impossible for the Aurora Order to track him down, it was still giving him a sense of urgency, making him want to gather the Beyonder ingredients as soon as possible. Once he digested his potion, he would quickly advance to Sequence 6. Oh, okay. Well, okay, so he might become Sequence 6 faster than expected. Maybe in the next 50 chapters or so? That'd be dope. 10 in the morning, south of the south of the bridge, Rose Street. In his double-breasted frock coat, Klein took off his top hat and strolled into the rather small church. At first glance, he saw the giant-like Father Utravsky and Emlin White, who were dressed in brown priest robes. The latter was whipping candle lamps with a numb look on his face, as though he would rather be dead. What a coincidence. Don't tell me he's here for the entire day and only returns home at night. Klein casually found a seat and sat down. There were less than 5 devotees in the entire cathedral. Emlin White also saw him and put down the rag and walked over. The vampire's expression became lively, and he said with his chuckle, "You came here suddenly because you need my help, right?" It's all good. Let's take like a 2 or 3 minute break really quickly, guys. I'm out of tea. I'm just gonna go make a little bit more, and then we'll finish the last 4 chapters. Okay. Give me like 5 minutes. Morning, Justin. You came at kind of the worst time because I'll be gone for like 5 minutes. I just need to make some more tea. I'll be right back.
find the heights, behold your sight for those windmills, let them run again, 'cause I will fight. Let it be the cold rain, be it battle I cannot survive, or another cursed spirit come from the tide. Every morning, every night, my fate confide. Beyond darkness, upon the bridge of Christ, the stranger light. Those devils never break out of their great disguise. So I will fight. Another soul, another falsely fight. Those ramblers that pressed upon my soul. Every inch I marched towards the fatal side. Against the winds, against the lights, I shall conquer a flight. 'Cause when you stop to dream, your whole heart gives into light.
I am back. Alright. Sorry about that. I'm not that sorry, actually. Okay. Alright, let's go. 407, the true adorer. That's fine, Milos. Don't worry too much about it. It's all good. Inside the Harvest Church, Klein tilted his head to glance at Emlin White without ruining the serene atmosphere. He deliberately suppressed his voice and laughed. Are you short on money? As soon as the words left his mouth, he felt as if he was asking Emlin about the multi-level marketing company, Amway. Emlin first was taken aback before he scoffed. Don't insult a noble sanguine with money. Klein instantly sneered, looking at Father Utravsky in front of him, and casually asked, according to what I know, those handmade dolls aren't cheap. They can even be called rather expensive, especially those that are as tall as humans. Emlin gasped his mouth in an attempt to retort, but failed to say a word. After a moment of silence, he coughed lightly, feigned indifference, and said, Tell me, what is it you need my help with? I'm not a sanguine who likes riddles. Klein didn't look at the vampire next to him and smiled. I have a friend who is about to advance. He needs to collect the relevant Beyonder ingredients. I wonder if you can help. Are you doubting my capabilities as a sanguine? Even if I don't have them, I can write and inquire the nobler excellencies. That's what I want, Klein immediately responded. Mutated pituitary of 1,000-faced hunters, 100 milliliters of its blood. Characteristics of a human-skinned shadow and 5 strands of a deep-sea naga. As long as I can get any of these, I will pay the corresponding price. The cheaper the price, the more you get rewarded. He purposely increased the number of supplementary ingredients to avoid any losses. Upon hearing the description, without stuttering, Emlin White suddenly felt as if he had fallen into a trap of sophistry. He calmed his emotions and said the cost for those beyond ingredients is at least £100, while the supplementary ingredients are at least £10. Although I'm not clear of the level of the things you want, I believe they're definitely not cheap or common. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come to me. Very smart, Klein laughed. Deal. Aren't they way more than £100? Does he not know the price, or can he get them way cheaper? Oh, this coffee is so good. What the fuck? What did I do? At this moment, Emlin White had a deep suspicion he was asking for too little. Therefore, he added, Mr. Detective, do you have any clues on removing the psychological cues? Seeing that Father Utravsky was concentrating on his prayers, Klein turned his head to glance at the vampire and said, I have the simplest method. What? Emlin's eyes lit up. 100, not for himself as a middleman, not for the thing. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. That makes way more sense. Thank you. Defeat Bishop Utravsky and snatch the mental terror candle away, Klein said. After you meet up with your parents, you should possess the strength you need. Are 3 sanguines not the match for a single Dawn Paladin? The corners of Emlin's mouth twitched. We lost. We couldn't beat him. My parents were nearly captured. That mental terror candle is really strange. So you've already tried. The entire family almost converted to become the believers of the Earth Mother. 3 sanguines weren't enough to defeat Father Utravsky. With the help of the mental terror candle and the blood transfuser, is he really that terrifying, or are you guys just that weak? But all the rumors point towards vampires being rather powerful. Then Klein sat and thought. Then you can write a letter and ask for help of the noble excellencies. There shouldn't be a lack of powerful experts among the sanguine. The whole family jumping father is crazy? Dude, unironically. This is what I would imagine would happen in the Middle Ages when someone would go to a priest for confession, and the priest would be like, you are forgiven, my child. Your penance will be £7,000. And the peasant is like, my family is worth $7. What the fuck are you talking about? And then they just jump the priest. And they're like, you've goddamn forgive me right here, I tell you. And that was actually a thing in the Middle Ages. You know that they would just literally be like, yeah, you can just kill people. There's no problem. I just donate some money. Like, what the fuck? Suddenly, he looked at Klein with hope. No, wait, what the fuck? Did I skip something? Then you can write a letter and ask for help among the noble excellencies. There shouldn't be a lack of powerful experts among the sanguine. They refused, Emlin answered. Suddenly, he looked at Klein with hope. Can you defeat Father Utravsky? Or could your friend beat him? After receiving the sun brooch and the biological poison bottle and digesting most of the potion, he originally thought I would be able to defeat Father Utravsky, but your description just made me uncertain. Is the mental terror candle that bizarre? This kind of sealed artifact is obviously great at restraining spirit bodies. Klein shook his head. No way. He then quickly changed the subject. Why would those noble excellencies of the sanguine refuse your request? To them it should be a simple favor. Klein's face instantly turned ashen. They say that Father Utravsky is a blessed of the Earth Mother. They do not wish to enter into direct conflict with him. They are studying means to remove the psychological cues, venturing deep into the Sonia Sea, Fog Sea, and Berserk Sea in exchange for dragons that have long secluded themselves. Whoa, dragons still exist? I thought they had just been eradicated, but oh my god, they still exist. They just live secluded. That's based as fuck. Those days of buying your way back to heaven? Fuck yeah, I need fried rice. Nice. Martin Luther had to step in. Absolutely, my goat. By the way, I learned something really cool about the past Pope, Pope Francis, I believe, right? Pope Francis. So the normal salary for a pope is $290,000, like damn near 300 grand, and Pope Francis refused it because he said he didn't want it. He in his 12 years as Pope, he would have made like $3 million, but he said like, no, that's not, we shouldn't be here for the money. So he never took a salary his entire 12 years as Pope. I thought that was really cool. I learned that this morning. He added with a smile, by the time they figure it out or find a dragon well versed in the psyche domain, I may have already become a devout believer of the Earth Mother. I'm beginning to appreciate how precious life is and how joyful a harvest is. He added with a smile even uglier than a weeping face. No, sorry, I already read that. A blessed of the Earth Mother. Father Utravsky is a blessed of the Earth Mother? No wonder he has so many mystical items. From the looks of it, as a powerful pirate, suddenly switching to the Earth Mother wasn't a simple matter. He almost agreed to Emlin White's requested attempt to defeat Father Utravsky. If I lose, then I might be locked in the basement and forced into confinement. If I win, I might offend another deity. No, there's no way of me winning. The Blessed of the Earth Mother definitely has an appropriate trump card. If it wasn't for Father Utravsky suppressing his split personality, then I probably wouldn't have been able to defeat him. Klein wisely didn't pursue this topic. He once again looked at the father and said, you can try to find an organization called the Psychology Alchemists. I've been eating eggs every day for the past 2 weeks. Nice. I have eggs very often for breakfast. Not every day, but like damn near every day. Maybe 5 days a week. Yesterday I didn't technically have eggs, but I went to McDonald's and got an egg McMuffin, so I had eggs. Otherwise, you'll have to wait for Miss Justice from our tarot club to become a psychiatrist. By then, you might be reluctant to break away from the faith of the Earth Mother. To him, it was best if Emlin also joined the Psychology Alchemists. That way, if Miss Justice encountered any problems, he could help her with other resources. And Klein wouldn't always have to summon himself, who's the trinity of the fool, a blessed, and a believer. Well, you sleep at 4 a.m., Ramiro. Yes, that makes sense. Psychology Alchemists? I've never heard of it. Emlin shook his head. It must be a secret organization that recently appeared. This organization has existed for more than, for 100 or 200 years at the very least, Klein declined. For a sanguine with long lifespans, 100 or 200 years means it recently appeared. Among the noble excellencies, a nap might be as long as a century. Jesus. Without waiting for Klein to speak, he looked ahead, cleared his throat, and said, do you know how to contact that organization? I normally just have scrambled eggs with a little bit of ketchup. It's really simple. I can't be bothered to do anything. Fucking breakfast is literally cereal and eggs, like almost every day, and then coffee, obviously. But do you know how to contact that organization? Klein was going to answer that there was a man in the Tingen City Asylum named Daxter Guderin who was a member of the Alchemists, but he stopped himself. With the true creator targeting me, it's best I don't get involved with other matters or people in Tingen. There's a certain risk of exposure, and once exposed, the Aurora Order's madness would definitely not let Benson and Melissa go. And he said, I've only heard of this organization. You can write and ask other sanguines. Emlin was disappointed and stopped talking about it, and said, I'm guessing your friend who's about to advance is you? Klein looked forward without a care and said, Congratulations, you got it right. Emlin was stunned, completely different from what he expected. Noticing his change, Klein laughed. Mr. White, the most suitable job for you isn't to be an apothecary, but to be an actor. Emlin was stunned, but he immediately raised his head arrogantly. I'm a deep, noble sanguine. I don't rely on my looks to make a living. Do you think I'm praising you for being handsome, you dumb fuck? No, I mean, you're very talented at comedy. When Emlin's expression froze, he squeezed away his way out of the aisle and said, "Don't worry. Don't forget what I entrusted you with." Pritz Harbor, White Oak Street. Forrest Wall took a steam locomotive in the early morning and arrived at the kingdom's largest and most important port. She had booked tickets for them for a return trip by boat, which was relatively inexpensive. Taken in the smell of the sea, Forrest saw many of the dock workers who were in a hurry. In the middle of each season, the port was swarming with temporary workers for relatively decent pay, and many poor people lived in the Backland's East Borough would head southeast on foot and in groups, traveling a distance of more than 60 kilometers. That's crazy. The roads are wider than Backland and their air quality isn't bad, but it's relatively dirtier. Without much trouble, Forrest met Dorian Gray in an office. The gentleman was of medium build with exaggerated arms. Oh, my man goes to the gym. His hair was rather neatly combed, completely unlike most of the members of the association who had hairstyles that looked like bird nests. He should also be a member of the Abraham family. After explaining the purpose of his visit, Forrest passed Lawrence's will along with a strange notebook and a diamond-like characteristic. Dorian received the items with a complicated expression before opening the will first. After reading it carefully, he lifted his head and looked earnestly at Forrest with his blue eyes. "Your kindness and honor are praiseworthy, Miss Walls. I will always remember the help you provided Alyssa and Lawrence. Can you accept my gratitude? I wish to invite you to lunch." "No problem." Forrest was still wondering how to pass the time before her ship sailed. Dorian immediately arranged for her to wait in the next hall, offering some tea, snacks, newspaper, and magazines. Returning to the office, the gentleman opened a hidden cabinet with some misgivings and took out an item. It was a pure crystal ball shining with radiant light. 408. A bold assumption. Are we just talking about breakfast in chat? Wait, no. 7 chapters in 2 hours, Nagato. What the fuck? I only have 3 more to go and I'm 10 minutes ahead of schedule. Dorian Gray is a reference to the book Portrait of Dorian Gray. Ah, cool. I used to like 4s until Milosh, 10 minutes before midnight for me. Alright, well we got about an hour more to go. Well, we got 3 more chapters, however long that takes, but that shouldn't be more than an hour. Dorian drew the curtains, cloaking the office with darkness before he sat down. The importance of being earnest is a goated play. True. 6 no. We're at 7, no? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, yeah, you're right. 6. Yeah, my bad. Dorian drew the curtains, cloaking the office with darkness before he sat down. He had the crystal ball in his left hand while touching its top with his right palm. He stroked the crystal ball back and forth, kept chanting. Gradually, the radiant points of light between the crystal ball began to shine brighter and brighter, becoming more and more obvious, as if the stars in the night were casting their reflections, often used to determine the direction of fate, and the stars in the trajectory of one's life surfaced one after another, forming a 3-dimensional astrolabe with many revelations from the spirit world that resembled symbols. Dorian Gray finally stopped and studied it. She wasn't lying. There really was a trajectory of the situation. She seemed to be able to bring about changes to the Abraham family. Optimistic changes. As the light from the crystal ball dimmed, Dorian stood up, already having made up his mind. At lunchtime, in the Four-Winged Bird restaurant. In front of the fours laid a filleted fried fish which had rosemary scattered on it. Its skin was crisp and its meat fresh, and it didn't have any fine bones. It was rather tasty, but the only... Good lord. It was rather tasty, but the only problem was that the cook was had an extremely warped sense of aesthetics. He had deliberately kept the eyes of the fish bulging out of its head, and by plating the food, he made the fish look up as though to express its indignation over its death. Jesus Christ, why the fuck would you do this? Forrest pushed the head down, cut off the tail, and covered the upturned eyes. At that moment, Dorian Gray began moving his fork and knife as he casually asked, Alyssa really liked mysticism and had done some research. When you were packing her things, did you see any books, notes, or items? There were some notebooks and books, Forrest answered. As a result, I became a mysticism enthusiast, but unfortunately, I couldn't understand some of the contents at all. For example, the sights of the spirit world. Not only was it absurd, illogical, messy, and incapable of expressing ideas, even if I forced myself to read it and calm down, it was still difficult to remember its contents. I would forget it once I read it, let alone understand. Dorian nodded and laughed. Then you can still consult me. I am a mysticism enthusiast and quite proficient, if I might add. Really? That's amazing, Forrest answered. Seeing that she was really interested, Dorian immediately diverted the topic to mysticism. Sometimes he would bring up the spirit world, and sometimes he would speak about the cogitation experience. Having been prepped before he even stepped into the restaurant, he had deliberately chosen a secluded and quiet spot. Hence, he didn't need to worry that customers around him would overhear. At the end of the lunch, Dorian offered, I don't know how to express my gratitude, but now I don't have to worry about it. Although Lawrence paid you, I don't think that's enough to match your kindheartedness, good-heartedness, and honor. Miss Wall, you can write to me and ask about any questions you have. That's the least I can do to express my gratitude. That's what I wish for, Forrest replied. From the exchange just now, she could clearly tell Dorian Gray possessed rich, systematic mysticism knowledge, and he was indeed worthy of being a member of the ancient family. Although this was considered something she was lacking in, she had mastered quite a bit of knowledge about the Beyonder world, and it all came from books and notebooks that didn't go in depth, as well as random information she had overheard. It wasn't comprehensive or systematic, and just had too many shortcomings. Upon hearing her reply, Dorian raised her cup and smiled. I hope that one day we all possess some mysterious and extraordinary powers. Northborough in Backland, St. Samuel Cathedral. A group of men wearing black trench coats and red gloves entered an underground area. A leader was a man in his 40s with soft facial features and long hair. Wearing a pompous top hat, he carried a black cane which was inlaid with gold. He quietly followed the Nighthawks, leading the way, and entered a rather spacious room. I think you forgot some of the contents. You can... 265. Yeah, sounds good, Nightwalker. I'll do that. 265. All right. Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks, bud. I'll check that out before the next stream. There were many bookshelves in the room and various dossiers placed on them. A mesmerizing, beautiful woman was wearing a black robe with blue eyeshadow and blush, leisurely sitting on a high-backed chair. Madame Daly. Soest, all the information you need is over here, Daly gestured. The middle-aged man named Soest smiled and said, Daly, why were you sent to guard this place? You should be tasked with most important matters. No, this is what I wanted. I need to settle down and read more, Daly chuckled. This is to ease my future progression. Humans are fragile creatures, and they need a certain amount of time to calm down. No one can always be in peak condition, enjoying the thrill and pleasure without any rest. Your style really has never changed. Unfortunately, you've never given me the chance, Celeste burst out laughing. Daly shook her head seriously and said, obviously, you don't understand me. My current hobby has turned even more novel. You can turn yourself into a rotten corpse or expose your white bones. Then I'll definitely be filled with interest in you. Jesus Christ. She then turned to look at the red glove behind Celeste. Leonard, why did you join his team? The fellow is conceited, arrogant, and gutless. He keeps fantasizing that woman would take the initiative to crawl into bed waiting for him. To be honest, perhaps this is quite the unique trait of a nightmare. When she mentioned nightmare, Daly visibly paused. Leonard helplessly said, Ma'am Daly, this is the arrangement of His Excellency Casimir. Is that so? I can see that you agree with my views on Celeste, Daly concluded. Leonard was momentarily at a loss for an explanation. Fortunately, soul assurer Celeste didn't pay much attention to Daly's words. Walking over to the table filled with information, he picked up a dossier and flipped through it. Leonard and the others immediately surrounded him, imitating their leaders. After a sound of paper flipping through for a while, Celeste casually asked, What's new in Backland? Something worth paying attention to? Daly, after thinking for a while, said, A few Beyonders who work with us have passed on news that there are people searching for an organization that believes in the Fool, and they have given the corresponding honorific name. After describing the Fool's honorific name, she chuckled. I seem to be witnessing the birth of an entirely new cult. Of course, it could be the reincarnation of an old friend. What do you think, Celeste? No, I've never heard of such an organization. Leonard looked up from the dossier he was reading and mused and said, Could this have something to do with the 2 tarot card rituals we're investigating? The Fool is the first card of the tarot deck and the most important major arcana. Daly froze for a moment and nodded thoughtfully. That's an interesting idea. But there's no evidence, pure speculation, and can't even be considered a deduction, Celeste said. Leonard revealed a faint smile and said, Emperor Roselle once said to make a bold hypothesis and then carefully back it up. God, fuck that guy, dude. Every time I read anything about Roselle, I just hate the dude a little more. Helstonborough, Quelaag Club. As soon as Klein entered the hall after leaving the Harvest Church, he saw the equestrian teacher, Talim Dumont, sitting in a secluded corner, seemingly pondering over something. Noticing that lunch was still some time away, Klein went over and greeted him with a smile. Good afternoon, Talim. You seem to have encountered another problem. Talim snapped to his senses and hurriedly shook his head. No, nothing. It's a pity Mike and Aaron aren't here, otherwise we'd have another pleasant afternoon. Talim smiled. They're all busy and have very little free time. Sherlock, there's an important figure who's interested in you after hearing about your deeds. He would like to meet you. Would you be willing? Zaref, how's it going, man? How you doing? Would you be willing? Frankly speaking, this leaves me envious. It's a very rare opportunity. What deeds did I do? After 2 seconds, Klein understood the reason. The important figure must have asked Talim if he knew of an excellent detective, and he could only think of me, so he offered to embellish descriptions about me that sounded impressive, such as the person who cracked the case behind the serial killers, the one who noticed Mrs. Mary's former husband and mistress. I was probably described as being effective and sharp. He hesitated for a moment before saying, I'm sorry, Talim, but as a detective, I have my own principles, and that is to not get involved with matters involving important people. On the stage of the higher-ups, what might be a sneeze-like friction among them may very well be unbearable disaster for me. I won't paint a target on my back, so I won't see this important figure. This was actually something Klein decided upon before becoming a detective. He was prone to an investigation once he was involved with high society. Therefore, before he became a faceless, he didn't want to bear such risks. You're very rational, Talim sighed. The important figure has noticed this reaction and believes that such a detective is even more trustworthy, so he wishes to take on a commission that wouldn't involve high society. What kind of commission? The Capim case which you and Mike were talking about last time. The important figure is interested in the organization that uses tarot cards. He said that there has been more than one such case and wishes for you to find any relevant clues. Oh my god, this is based! He just, searches for himself, gives half-ass clues, and then just straight up fucking... collects money. This is like a free money printing machine. What the fuck? And I'm Zaza? Ah, that makes sense. Okay. Alright. 409. December. Wait! It's December? Klein said he would fully digest the magician potion by the new year, so there's only a month left at worst. Oh my god, this is based. That's the Spider-Man move? Ah, shit. Nice. W money? Fuck yeah. What? Getting me to investigate myself again? An organization that uses tarot cards is to represent itself is really interesting, but I don't want to sell myself out. Captain's matter is not simple. He had a total of 4 Beyonders protecting him, so there must be a powerful faction. What's the difference between investigating this case and being involved in high society? Klein revealed a thoughtful expression while weighing his options, before saying, "It's not easy to find a mysterious organization. Besides, it's very dangerous." Talim seemed to have expected his answer. "Sherlock, there's no need for you to take risks. The important figure's intention is for you to pay more attention and to gather relevant information or clues. Here's £5, money for your activities. Even if you don't receive any valuable information, the money's yours. Once you gather some clues, he'll pay you per lead and reimburse you for your expenses through the process." Such good conditions. The important figure must have a lot of attention on this matter. Does he have connections with the forces behind Capim? Or does he wish to find the organization that uses tarot clubs as a code name to help him? Reimburse. It's been a long time since I've heard myself promise something like that. Since he's already gone so far, it appears suspicious for me to refuse. Alright, I'll do my best. He didn't stand on ceremony and accepted the £1 note that Talim handed, intending to provide a vague clue every week or so. Isn't the Aurora ordered looking for the Fool? The Fool is obviously part of the Tarot Club. I hope the important figure will pursue this path all the way to getting rid of Mr. A. I think, so the first clue he should give is like, hey, I think, I heard that this person is looking for Mr. Fool. I think Mr. Fool might be part of the Tarot Club. Bang. And that's a clue, because that's a huge clue, because then this is a known entity that they can go to for some more information. So like that should get you a lot of money, or like a decent amount of money. But it doesn't really implicate anything. And then you keep providing useless fucking dog shit clues like this. Under St. Samuel Cathedral, Soul Assurer West assembled his team together to discuss subsequent actions. He looked at the black-haired, green-eyed Leonard and asked, "If I were to relegate this matter to you, how do you plan on investigating the 2 cases related to the terror ritual?" First, I would go according to my train of thought from before, do a reverse search of people or organizations seeking the Fool's believers. They may know something. Second, I would reinvestigate the first 2 cases and place all the people involved in a name list, regardless of whether they were suspects or not. Then use the power of a nightmare to inquire and eliminate them one by one. The devil might be in the details, hidden in the person who is most improbable. Celeste let out a little chuckle. I've read through the dossier. The 2 cases involve a lot of people, each living in a different place. Wanting to re-examine them is very difficult. And some of them are already Beyonders who are secretly active beneath the surface. They know how to hide well. And there's no way of knowing where they are. If we were to perform an investigation according to your idea, then we would need a small team. The church would need to inject at least 5 or more sequence 7s or above to the corresponding support personnel. The case we're in charge of is focused on the devil summoning case, another red glove reminded Leonard. I know, I'm only providing my point of view. Whether it's used or not, or the extent to which it is, will be directed by the captain. He paused for a moment and revealed a puzzled expression. I don't understand why the 2 cases related to the Terror Club didn't have high priority. The former involved an evil god's attempted descent, countless times more serious than a mere devil summoning. Is COI just harder to read? Because I feel like everyone I've ever heard talk about it is like, I have a hard time reading it. Even Dr. Z, who says like she really loves it. Like I feel, except for Dr. Z, who says she really loved it. I feel like everyone is like it's a really good book, but I kind of slog my way through it, and then some people really don't like the ending. In a Backland winter that was inseparable from fireplaces and fog, time flew by amidst these cold and grey sensations. In the blink of an eye, it's because some people don't like it. I don't think it's harder. Too much French. The English is incomprehensible. It's a bit slow at the slow middle part. In the blink of an eye, there was only a month left in the new year. Until the new year. Klein extinguished the charcoal in the fireplace and put on a double-breasted frock coat over his dark woven woolen vest. Nearly 3 weeks ago, Leonard finally received the bike patent and began looking for a suitable second-round investor. Leopard, not Leonard. Steam car mogul Framis Cage ended up showing some interest. After several meetings, the 3 parties decided to conclude their final negotiations today. During the past month or so, Klein led an uneventful life. Wait, hold on. Did we fast forward a month, basically? During his investigations, he slowly digested the potion by strictly following the principles. He was now just short of a relatively bigger performance that he needed to initiate to completely digest it. If there are no urgent matters, then I can avoid taking risks. It would take about another... As his mind wandered, Klein removed his hat from the coat rack and smoothed the folds with a brush. The badge left behind by Lanavis indicated a 4th January gathering. He had no strong intentions on attending it. During his time, the Tarot Club continued being held on a weekly basis. Klein obtained a few pages of Roselle's early diary entries, allowing him to witness how he went from a weakling who only knew how to dream without taking action to becoming a playboy who actively hunted. Apart from this, he gained almost nothing. Although they were beyond her characteristics that were handed to the hanged man for a sale via the world, the sale invoicing more than £1,000 was obviously not easy to close. The werewolf's unique trait of being cursed also causes many interesting parties to shrink back. However, a few days ago, the hanged man told the world that he had contacted an artisan from the Church of the Steam of Machinery, of the Church of the Steam of God of Machinery, and the other party was clearly interested. Let's hope the deal closes this week. There are still no clues to the wind-blessed formula for the hanged man. Klein packed his personal belongings, picked up his cane, wore his hat, and walked out the door. The wind-blessed formula was a sequence 6, not easy to encounter. The hanged man had waited for more than a month without receiving any news. Justice Audrey, after undergoing a long period of observation and testing, She was finally accepted into the Psychology Alchemist. She reported to the Fool that she would be officially joining the organization this week, hoping to be blessed ahead of time in order to prevent any actions. For this, she was prepared to plunder at least 10 pages of Roselle's diary from the Psychology Alchemist for Mr. Fool, without any compensation. As for the dragon specimen in Duke Negan's treasury, she had already confirmed it was a thousand-faced hunter, but it was purely a sample that was without any corresponding beyond her characteristic or flowing blood. The £2,000 she owed Mr. Fool's Blessed wouldn't be paid until February or March of next year. This was because although she would officially come of age at the New Year's ball and be able to take charge of her portion of the fortune, she would still be under the supervision of her parents. Furthermore, she still was short of the Viscount's final payment, so she needed ample time to raise the money in secret. The magician Forrest, with the help of the Hanged Man, finally obtained the blood of the deep-sea marlin. She paid in £320 for it, which reduced her savings to £120. In order to make up for her loss and for the stomach pouch of a spirit eater, she began to furiously rush to write her new book, which quickly took shape. Her and Dorian Gray's correspondence never stopped, and the other party recently announced they would be coming to Backland to pay their respects to Alyssa, Lobero, and Lawrence. The son Derek, who was acting normally as the Hanged Man suggested, continued his daily patrols, amassed merit points, and didn't attempt any rituals. At every tarot gathering, he would skillfully pretend to be asleep, and he didn't reveal any problems for the time being. Usually, he would occasionally take a nap to prevent any irregularities from being detected, which would put him under suspicion. According to him, Shepherd Elder Lovia didn't leave the bottom of the spire 7 days later, and was still locked in there for unknown reasons. Daredevil? Fuck yeah. Are you watching the new one, Zerif, or are you watching the old one from like 2015 or whatever? The OG? Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It can be a little slow to get into. But then, like, I found, like, episode 3 or 4, I was hooked, and then I watched the entire thing. Like, I haven't watched it in, like, probably 10 years or something, like, a really long time at this point. But, like, I remember really, really liking it. With the Aurora Orders, Mr. A searching for the followers and Blessed of the Fool, they failed to receive any valuable clues, with Klein's deliberate attempts to keep a low profile. And the Beyonders, who knew the honorific name of the Fool, all understood they should never chant such words carelessly. Unless they were in dire straits, they definitely didn't have the courage to pray to an existence suspected of being an evil god. Emlin mentioned that the last time he had some clues for the corresponding ingredients, and that he may be able to confirm it soon. But the problem is that I'm lacking money now. With a silent grunt, Klein took his cane and walked to Lawyer Jurgen. When the doorbell rang, he took the initiative and instinctively took 2 steps back. Not long after, Mrs. Doris opened the door and gave Klein a warm hug. The doctor you introduced me to last time was wonderful. I haven't been this healthy in a decade. Doris, seeing that the detective was standing far away, could only fold her arms and express her delight and feeling in words. Doris, you've already told me this for the 9th time. He saw Brody, the black cat, sitting on top of the coat rack. Although it was precarious, he was able to maintain his balance. I can do that as well. Klein made a self-evaluation. Oh, is that so? Old Miss Doris said. She immediately tossed the question to the back of her mind and said, Are you here for Jurgen? Yes. Matters involving negotiation need the help of a professional lawyer. 410. Okay. We are zooming today. What the fuck? Look at this. This is 9, and I'm about 25 minutes ahead of schedule. What the fuck? St. George Borough, 3rd Street. As soon as Klein and Jurgen alighted from the carriage, they saw a massive object parked in front of the inventor Leopard's door. It was iron black in color with a dozen wheels in 3 groups, the top of which towered like a ship's chimney and the smoke emitted from it. It was a steam car that Klein had seen in magazines and on the streets, often described by the public as an ironclad warship with an exaggerated body. If the streets that hadn't been built or rebuilt in the last 20 or 30 years, then it would have filled the roads and left no room for the horse carriages. Therefore, the transportation vehicle as this could only be seen in certain places and areas. At this moment, the heavy glass door and window of the car opened, and 2 figures stepped out. One of them was the steam car mogul, Framus Cage, whom Klein had met before. A quarter of his blood was of the Fasak Empire. He had pale blue eyes and a tall but bulging build, and a pipe in his mouth. The person beside him was wearing a heavy black coat and a grey scarf wrapped around his neck. His features were unremarkable. He looked common with his black hair and brown eyes, yet he exuded an inexplicable sense of familiarity. Detective Moriarty, you really are punctual. Not blushing, kid. I liked the comparison that Nightwalker made. You were like Audrey for Klein. I don't know. I don't think Klein. I guess yeah, because I like that comparison because it's really cute. Because Klein sees Audrey as like a helpless, bumbling idiot, and he's like, "Hey, we should help her. She seems useful enough." So he just tries to help her. I just like Dr. Z because she's the only reason that I'm streaming. So, where was I? I'm not good with colors, almost to the point that I feel colorblind. Is it all colors, Zarif, or is it like certain color? Like I know some people have like difficulties with like yellow green, or is it yellow green, or like blue green? Like, is it some colors you have troubles with, or is it like just across the board? You feel like you just see colors worse than people? Hi, Detective Moriarty. You really are punctual. This is my lawyer and partner, Pacheco Duane. Red-green as usual. Red-green, really? Mostly yellow-green, but almost all? Interesting. I'm not colorblind, I just can't remember what they're called. I don't feel trouble with black and white. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Second question, Zarif. Sorry, I'm gonna get back to reading in a quick second. If you close your eyes and you picture a thing, do you see it in color or do you see it in black and white? Red-green is the most common type of color blindness? Jesus Christ, I did not know that. Cool. A quarter of blood, 8% of men have it, 0.5% of women. Cool. Women have a much better sense of color that's developed. I think it's something like, I might get the numbers wrong, but it's like men have like 3 cones in their eyes for colors and women have 4, or it's like men have 2 and women have 3. That's why women can generally see colors a lot better than men. You can see colors when you imagine objects. Interesting. Okay, so you don't have aphantasia. You just... Interesting. Yeah, it's the cones in their eyes. Um, my biology teacher, when she told us this in like grade 11 biology, told us a really cool theory for it. And I really liked it. She said the reason women can see colors better, we think, is that women were the gatherers in our in like ancient society, right? Meaning they needed to be able to differentiate between, like, let's say berries. Like you go to get a berry, like, hey, like I think generally it's like if you're in the wild, red berries are more poisonous than blueberries, but the most poisonous berry on the planet is a blueberry, or like a type of blueberry, not a blueberry. But so she said, like, women evolved to have better senses of color so that they could find small differences between colors and not bring fucking poisonous food home. So I always like that theory. I don't. So. Where was I? While they conversed, two burly men got out of the steam-powered car. They were obviously Framis's bodyguard. So you're basically saying to me skill issue? I'm not saying skill issue. I'm saying that color blindness is much more common for a guy than for a girl, and it really doesn't. And you're gonna live just a normal life, okay? You're gonna be just fine. Don't worry about it. Did you know the reason some fruits are poisonous is that the seed inside can use the corpse as nutrients to grow? Plants are basically backstabbers? Ah, cool. That makes sense. Like, I know that caffeine is originally intended. The reason caffeine was synthesized by plants is that it's an insecticide. If insects bite into like coffee beans or whatever, they get paralyzed by the caffeine. But caffeine isn't intended on. But caffeine wasn't intended to be eaten by monkeys 100,000 times the size. So for us, it gives us a nice little jolt. But it's a paralytic for insects. While they conversed, two burly men got out of the steam-powered car, obviously Framis's bodyguards. How unprofessional. Shouldn't they come down first and open the door for their boss? Ugh. While he was waiting for Leopard to open the door, he casually chatted with them. Mr. Cage, is this kind of steam-powered vehicle popular? Do a lot of people like it? Framis laughed. Those who think that they're decent say that it's too barbaric and crude, and ordinary people can't afford it. Only I, an enthusiast, would be willing to buy it. It's mainly because streets are too narrow, Klein said. Framis was also the investor he found, and he had little to do with Leopard. He was playing cards at the Quelaag Club, and he deliberately mentioned it, and the equestrian teacher Talim immediately mentioned that Framis liked similar inventions, offering to introduce them. When he was playing cards at the Quelaag, this made Klein sigh with emotion. The club was a great place to develop connections, and members who joined it were never interested in the free food, drinks, and activity venues. This is indeed one of the reasons. As the population increases and cities grow larger, the horse carriages will definitely be eliminated. It's too slow. What this world is pursuing now is efficiency, Framis said. Also, I've already obtained an order from the military. They want me to make some improvements, like it was mentioned in Roselle's manuscript. Increase the armor's bulletproof plating, cover the tracks so it can drive on a simple road. In addition, add thick cannon barrels, and this will be a brand new weapon. Roselle's manuscript. Klein sighed silently, and for a moment he didn't know what to say, until finally Leopard opened the door. Zarif, so, I've been posting videos for a long time. I think my channel is like 8 years old or something crazy at this point. Maybe 6. But I started streaming very recently, like maybe 2 months ago. Maybe 3 at this point. So, the first stream I did, I mentioned it offhand. I made a video on Lord of the Mysteries, and I mentioned it offhand, at the end of the video, like, hey, I might stream my read-throughs. And like a couple people in the comments were like, yeah, that'd be awesome. And so I decided to give it a shot, never really expecting anything to come of it, because like in my mind, I still think of like the live streams as like secondary, and I still think of like the main thing I do is like the videos. So I wasn't expecting anything to come of it, but the first stream I did, I was like, I wouldn't get any viewers. I might do it a couple times and then just leave it, whatever. But then Dr. Z popped by and we had like a good chat for like an hour or two or something. And then this next stream, a couple people popped by and I was like, well, so she's like the only reason I'm live streaming, I mean to say. A random dude on Easy Server found you and shared your channel. She actually didn't. I don't think she spoiled anything the first stream. I can't remember, but I don't think so. That's a good question though. In the discussion that followed, the main people that were talking were Jurgen and Pacheco. The two lawyers would argue with each other to discuss the terms of their employers, while the completely unprepared inventor Leopard sat there in a daze. Finally, the three parties agreed that Framus would invest £1,000 and take 20% of shares, and the shares of Klein and Leopard would fall to an equal ratio of 28 and 52%. Klein only has 28%? Really? At the same time, Framus agreed to buy another 18% of Klein's shares at a premium. This would cost him £1,000 after tax. Similarly, he would buy a 9% stake in the company at a post-tax price of £500. Well, we didn't know each other back then, so I had better impulse control. As a result, Framus became the largest shareholder in the newly established Backland bike company with 47% shares. He became responsible for the subsequent industrialization and marketing, while the company would be funded with the £1,000 he invested as the initial capital. Hold on. So he owns 47%. Leopard, who was the second largest shareholder with 43%, his job was to set up the assembly line for mass production. And Klein, who only had £10% of the shares, was purely a financial investor. And the £1,000 he earned from selling his shares sent his personal wealth skyrocketing to £1,235, almost enough to buy a main ingredient for a faceless potion. As a private detective, he still continued accepting commissions in the past month or so, and so his daily expenses didn't drain his savings. I still have to pay the £50 to lawyer Jurgen, leaving me with $21.85. I'll have to thank Talim when I see him. He then signed and stamped the contract, stood up and shook hands with Framus and Leopard. I hope for a pleasant partnership. Framus took out his golden pocket watch and looked at it before chuckling. Normally, we should have lunch together to celebrate, but there's an important person waiting. I'm really sorry. I have to go, but there'll be a lot of opportunities in the future. An important figure? Another one? Behind Talim? The one that I claimed reimbursements for using fake information that points to the Aurora Order? After exiting the house and getting into the carriage, Jurgen suddenly frowned. Sherlock, you agreed too readily. Why do you say that? He didn't even know what Jurgen was talking about. When we were talking about the transfer of the shares, based on your description and on Framus's performance, I can imagine a bright market prospect for bikes. Although it's just an invention at the moment, deflating the overall valuation, you should have kept more shares. Even though £5,000 is a good price, that way you can get better returns in the future. I thought you were only selling 8% and had the confidence to haggle for £500, but you agreed to 18%. Even if it were only £500, you would have made several fold on your investments. You shouldn't have been in such a hurry. Agreed. But I'm in need for money. However, I did agree readily without hesitation. It was a huge transaction. That does seem abnormal for me. As Klein thought back to the scene from before, he began having some doubts before. Whoa. Interesting. So Framus or his lawyer might be a beyonder. A beyonder that can influence others. Was I unconsciously influenced by Framus or the lawyer? Is one of them a beyonder? Fortunately, the price was pretty reasonable. As he pondered over the matter, Klein said to the lawyer, "The new year is coming soon." He had no idea how to explain it, so he randomly chose an opening. If the other party was smart, then they would go along with the opening and perfect the explanation with their own reasoning. There was no need for Klein to explain it. Of course, this move was aimed at smart people. Ordinary people would end up pressing, "So? What exactly happened?" Lawyer Jurgen was obviously a smart man. Noticing Klein's brief silence, he nodded and said, I understand. What do you understand? I haven't even thought of what I wanted to say." Klein pointed to the metro and said, "I'm getting off here. I need to meet an informant." I stay up whole night for the stream. Just adjust your sleep schedule to wake up at 3 a.m. I love how chill Justin says that. He's like, "Oh, it seems easy enough." As the steam-powered vehicle roared forward, Framus, who was sitting in the front row, wound down the window and blew out the smoke to the inconspicuous lawyer. "Did you use your powers just now?" "It was passively triggered," Pacheco said. "My powers aren't suitable for such situations. I prefer to face governments or enterprise employees." Framus nodded. "I just wanted to remind you, there's no need to use your powers in such situations. Do not let this affect what matters most." Damn. Could this guy be in with the similar people that the tycoon that we killed that Klein killed earlier be with? Could he be with the same people as them? Because he did say that guy wasn't the biggest trafficker in Backland, so could it be of the same? Could it be the same peeps? Because he did say like, don't let it affect. Eastborough, in a cheap coffee shop. When Klein arrived, old Kohler was already waiting for him. He removed his scarf, took off his hat, and sat down across from him, fished out a stack of 1 Solai notes and handed it to him. "For the next week's expenses and a bonus for the information you provided. It's a total of £1. He was very generous recently, giving up bonuses since he already found a person to claim them from." I love that. Capim only controlled 20% of the human trafficking? Yeah, exactly. Zareth, I think technically there's a third, but I believe he's in another language. I feel like I recall someone saying that anyway. Old Kohler, whose face was clearly ruddier than before, received the cash and was a little embarrassed. "The information I gave wasn't that important. No, the importance depends on who wields it. There's a lot of things you might find trivial, but it's how other people earn their money," Klein laughed. "What happened last week?" Old Kohler took a stack of bills and stuffed it into his pocket and said thoughtfully, "Just like before, many people are still looking for the believers of the Fool." How could anyone believe in the Fool? That's not a good name. The corners of Klein's mouth twitched. Are they making progress? The Aurora Order certainly is persistent. No, there's no such person. There's a few people organizing strikes recently, and they came to me a few times, claiming that they'll be fighting for reasonable hours and salaries. That's a reasonable thing. Klein said thoughtfully, "Pay attention to the organizers. Don't be too anxious. Safety first." All right. Old Kohler cleared his throat. "There's been a lot of gangsters and bounty hunters looking for a person these days. I don't know why, but someone has offered a bounty." "Who are they looking for?" Klein asked. The warm liquid ran down his esophagus and warmed his belly, and Old Kohler thought for a moment and said, "A man named Isaac Eggers." Let's go! We're getting ASIC back. It's been like 100. It's been like 150, 200 chapters. My fucking goat. Holy shit. ASIC? ASIC Eggers? Klein looked up from his coffee and stared at old Kohler. Isn't that ASIC's full name? Why would someone suddenly offer a bounty for him? In Zongwil? Relying on his clown powers, Klein feigned indifference as he asked, "Did he say what kind of person he was?" Old Kohler recalled and said he seems to be of the Balam lineage, and he was once a university lecturer. What the... Balam is a country, right? Do I know anything of Balam? Southern Kingdom, Roselle colonized it, and Klein's father died there during the colonial war. Add that the southern continent had the Balam Empire. Okay, so he's off the southern continent. Makes sense, because he has like olive skin. Makes sense. Okay, so that's it. So, okay, dope. Isaac better than Leonard. Totally agree. Look at that. Okay. 410, all done. Olive skin is a human skin tone associated with pink pigmentation in the type 3. It generally refers to moderate or lighter tan or brownish skin. I promise, I'm not making it up. Artwork channel, yes, Romero. Or, yes, Mielish, sorry. Sorry, really quickly. I need my hourly paycheck. If I'm gonna gamble this much, I need I need to constantly okay, I'm at $10,000 now. This is pretty good. Okay, let's gamble. Let's gamble really quickly. Coin flip. Are we gonna see Azek in the next 20 chapters? Hit me. Fuck off, you... Okay, whatever. Whatever. In celebration of Leonard becoming a Red Glove? Oh, hopefully they'll get to meet soon. I hope. That's really cool. Is this official or no? Still gambling after knowing the consequences of gambling? No, it's negative. It said we won't see Isaac in the next 20 chapters. Is this what is Lofter? Is that like Chinese Instagram or something? Oh, that is really okay. That is really good. Lofter is like Pinterest? Oh, I see. Okay. What is a long ass? I haven't played it. Nice, yeah. Okay, maybe I'm looking too much at Chinese Pinterest. Thank you. Maybe I might be looking too much into it, but that looks like a tarot card to me. Let me try to... Tarot cards, major arcana. Okay, so it's like a star on top or something. The star, maybe? The star. Get the tinfoil hat. Fuck you guys. Look at that. That's just... That looks like the thing. Couldn't be the sun. We already have a sun. Coincidence? I think not, you bastards. No, I refuse. Okay, fuck you guys. Oh, wait, hold on. We can figure this out right now. Hold on. Okay. Does Leonard join the tarot club? In what in the actual fuck did I do? Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. My fucked up my second monitor. Does Leonard join the tarot club? Okay. Is Leonard the star? It was the star, right? Is that what it was? The star, yes. Sideways, fuck you. No. Oh no, I'm getting cooked. Okay, might actually be tinfoil. Oh no. Oh no, we're so cooked. No. No, that is so cooked. False. Interference. False. Oh no. Oh no. I lost all of the money. Oh fuck. Oh, that was bad. Oh no. Next stream, bring a tinfoil hat. Fuck you, dude. Oh. This is cool. My god, that is it just me or does that look like he has incredibly long fingers? What the look at this. It might just be because they look really skinny, and when we perceive and the dimensions of anything, we do it in like a XY axis sort of thing. That's why like two people can be of the same height, but if one is a little bit bigger and one is really skinny, the skinny guy just feels like he's taller. So like holy fuck, he looks like he has French fry fingers. What the fuck? Okay, what you said. Okay, I'm not in front of myself. Okay, Dr. Z, I really want to make a joke, but it's low-hanging fruit, so I'm gonna be better. Okay, I'm not gonna say it. This is cool. This is cool. Ever since I found out the cat is actually Klein, this is so much more funny. Like what the fuck? Oh, that's really cute. This is really good. Why does she look so depressed? That's so sad. She's so sad. Oh, what's wrong? I feel like I've seen this one, but this one's really, really good. If it was in like a little bit higher quality or like the aspect ratio was a little bit better, I would love to have this on stream. That's so cute. That's so adorable. Oh my god. She's depressed because Mila's just stalking her. This is so cute. I love this. Okay. See, like this feels like a really cute, like these two feel like really cute versions of fours, and then this feels like more what she would actually look like. More, but you know, this art style is not a commensurate of an actual human being. Oh, that's good. That's a cool tarot card. That thing in the that like frame in the rear makes me think of like Traveler and stuff, like you know, entrance to the spirit world or whatever. Hey Thunder, how's it going, man? We finished reading, so we're just going over some art. Forrest's character is so deep. She has lived years thinking that I don't know if I'll make it this month. True. Based. I'm not trusting too much. The word you're looking for is a door. I'm looking for an entrance, motherfucker, not door. A mirror can't be a door, but it can be an entrance. No, bitch. I appreciate your username. Oh, this is like official art. I think I've seen this before. That's a door, man. Look at the frame. Oh no! Oh no! No! I was just looking at this. No! Stop! You can't do this to me. Oh god, that's so... Oh god. Oh. As for someone who prides himself for seeing, let's write down the name of every sequence 8, you know? I know like 3 of them, okay? I can't go off of memory. Like, that'll help you remember. I can't. I literally can't. I know... Okay, I know Clown. I know Midnight Poet. I know Trickmaster. I know... Have you heard the Praise the Fool song? I don't believe so. I know Trickmaster. I know Arbiter for Geos. I know Telepathist. I don't know what the one for the criminal pathway is. 7 is like serial killer or something, but I don't remember them. I don't remember the one. I don't remember number 8. I don't. Corpse Collector. Oh, I don't think I remember. I don't think I remember the one for Corpse Collector. Hold on. The song may have spoilers, so no subtitles and carefully consider it. I'll let like Ramiro and Milos think about it. If whether I should hear it or not, I don't really care. Oh, Assassin is an Instigator. I know that one. Hunter. You cannot listen to the song? Okay, no problem. Lanavis. I know this, Lanavis. Swindler. Okay. Warrior. Dude, I know them. I don't know it offhand. I don't know what Warrior is. I don't. Again, I'm not... Sequence 8. Why the fuck would I ever remember those? Prisoner. Is that Werewolf? Is werewolf 7? Is it zombie? Werewolf is 7. Zombie is 6. Fuck off. Come on. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, secret suppliant. Clyde, Romero just told me this yesterday. Hold on. They talk to their god. Hold on. Whispered. Bruh. Do you remember every sequence 4? No, I don't remember every sequence 4. What the fuck? No shot. That's why I have notes, bro. I'm not remembering all this shit. Fuck that. Mr. A, our resident fucking lunatic. Oh my god, who does he remind me of? There's a person he reminds me of. I can't. Oh, I'm gonna think. He reminds me of someone. I can't remember. Oh, listener. Yes, listener. Whispered is the old name? Audrey. I feel like I've seen like damn near every piece of Audrey art that I'm allowed to see up until now. Apothecary. Apothecary is beast tamer. Apothecary is beast tamer, right? I don't. What it is? Wait. What is the prisoner pathway one? I'm sorry. You haven't seen the ones. What's the? I sent the song on Discord MP3. Okay, thanks, buddy. You tell me I got 8 out of 22. Okay, don't say it like that. That makes me feel so bad. How many of them do I know? Bard pathway I know for sure. I can't remember it though. Prisoner is prisoner's lunatic. Okay, never mind. Oh, this is so good. Oh my god. Susie, she looks so adorable. You remember Apprentice? Apprentice is Trickmaster. Yeah, I remember that one. You get half. Say two more. Can someone tell me the sequence 9s of the name of like the sequences I don't remember? Or like the sequence 9 name of like of like 8s I haven't mentioned yet, because I can't even remember what sequences I haven't even mentioned. Fuck. Like I know I can't remember like the criminal one. I can't remember. Like is it serial killer? No, serial killer is like 6 or 5 or some shit. 7. I don't know. Monster 8. I don't think. Arbiter. I've already said. Sheriff. Lawyer. Let's think. Okay, I definitely know lawyer because we have the card of blasphemy. Lawyer. Briber. All the cool names are. All the cool names are higher and higher sequence. Is it Briber? Not this. Criminal 8 is Unwinged Angel Cold-Blooded. Oh. 8 is Barbarian. Ah, fuck. I should have gotten that. Fuck. Mystery Prior. Mystery Prior. Mystery Prior. Oh, hold on. Mystery Prior. Someone was talking to me about this and it asked me like what the sequence 0 of Mystery Prior would be, and I thought it would be like Lord of the Mysteries, because I thought it would be like someone because it always had something to do with like knowledge and stuff. So Scholar. Melee Scholar. Do you know what all the sequence? Do you even know all the sequence 8 potions? No. I don't know all the. I don't know all the sequence 8 potions. No shot. No. Wait, I got it. Let's go. All right. We're at 10 now. If I get one more, I'll be happy. I'll be at 50%. I don't know, sequence 8 of monster for sure. That's so cute. I don't know, 8 of monster. I don't know the hunter one, dude. I don't know anything about the hunter pathway. I know the hunter is the opposite of assassin, I think it is. I don't know shit about it, though. Bro, when you say this, you should let us look at your notes while saying this to make sure no one is saying something they shouldn't. If you guys want, what I can do is I can send you guys a copy. I can send a copy of my notes in the Discord. And then, that way, as I'm adjusting them, you guys can keep track of what I know, and then maybe add stuff. Maybe add stuff that I missed. I can send you. I can toss a. Can someone just make? Actually, you know what? I can just do it. How would I create text channel? Should I make that a forum, or what should I make this? Should I just make this a text channel? What is this? Creating value with conversation. Forum channels are designed to allow conversation to exist, to coexist without people talking over each other. When you don't see every message that's being shared across the conversation. Instead, you see where you have full control, which you'd like to just text us fine. Okay, this seems cool though. We should try this. This seems cool. Okay. Notes. Notes up to 10. I will upload them. I will upload them after stream. I need to copy paste them into a different document and stuff, and then also format it a little bit, because you guys would have a stroke looking at this. Okay, sorry, Milos. Just okay. Sequence 8 of Bard. Eight is Provoker? Oh my god, 8 is Provoker! I made so much fun of it because it was the same as fucking... Oh, it was the same. It was the same as fucking the Assassin one, and I made fun of it too. Fucking... Oh, that's so stupid. I should have remembered. 8 of Arbiter's Sheriff. I know. I already said that one. Fuck. I knew it too. So fucking stupid. Dude, Sailor is like, all the Sailor names are so fucking long. They're so like, the Bard of the fucking Sea or something. Like, I don't fucking remember those names, dude. That shit's cancerous. Oh my god. Ugh. 8 of Spectator is so easy. Yeah, I already got that one. Telepathist. Oh, this is cool as fuck. What? Wait, it's easy? Seafarer? Is that what it is? I feel like it was something way harder, no? Hold on. My notes say Sailor Sequence. 8. Folk of the Rage. Is that not it? Is that an old name? Seven is Seafarer, no? At least my... Haha. Checkmate, Dr. Z. Father Utravsky cutting his beard. That is oddly specific for a very niche character. Well, I don't know. My notes at least say Folk of the Rage, but I can just change it to Folk of Rage. I don't really care. This is such a niche piece of art. Who the fuck thought to make this? Mob Tarot Club. Okay, this makes the sun seem as tall as Klein and Alger, and I feel like the sun in my mind is like 5'4". Like he's like this short. At least because we always call him Little Sun, so in my mind he's like super tiny. Dorian Gray. Wait, the sun is taller? The sun is tall? What? Oh my god, in my mind he was the shortest. Or, well, maybe other than Audrey, because I know Audrey's really short. What? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just because we always call him Little Sun. So, like, in my mind, he was tiny. He was like, ooh. That's funny. Alright, let's check out what username sent. This is the audio drama, not the praise of the wizard. I don't know what that is. I will check that out too, though. I'm going for dinner. Alright, thanks for popping by, Dr. Z. I appreciate it. Sent the song in general. Alright, so... Oh, this is so cool. This is so good. Who the fuck is this guy? Yeah, no. I can read. Yes, I read it. Username. Hero Bandit Black Emperor. Oh, I see. This is cool. What is because I saw another piece of artwork in the same sort of frame and stuff. What is this? Is this like a... He comes from a land once ruled by giants. They kept food on really high tables, so the short humans died out. The survival of the fittest. They kept food on really high tables. The short people just starved to death, unable to reach. As always, I love chibi art. I always find them adorable. Taiwan light novel. Man, Taiwan gets their own everything. I mean, they're also probably going to get their own war in a little bit. So, you know, a lot to be jealous of. Mysteries. I'll just listen to this right now. Okay. And you guys said don't look at the subtitles for them, right? Because they might have spoilers, basically. Is that right? It's a song in Hermes. So why am I listening to it? I can't fucking understand any of this. Click on the link. It's fine. If you really don't want, I can download MP. Oh no. I'm happy to listen to it. Username. That it wasn't about that. I literally just remembered this first, so I'm just listening to it first. I don't mind. I don't know what I'm listening to. I don't. That being said, the lady's voice is very good. Hold on. Hold on, they're actually cooking. Hold on, why is this hard? Why is this actually kind of hard? It's crazy. That was actually kind of hard. What the fuck? Someone used this to the Tarot Club members are singing it? Oh, I see. All right. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just get this pulled up. Wait till you can read the lyrics translated. Okay. Yeah, no problem. Don't go snooping. No, you're good. No translating and looking at recommendations? I won't. No, I don't, Nagato, but I've never opened Billy in my life, so I don't. There's 1, 2, 3. What I would assume is 4. At least it's cut up into 4 segments. I will listen to the rest of this later. Yeah. Yeah. Until I'm able to read the either fucking subtitles for it or have a little bit more understanding. There's just no I'm not gonna get anything out of it. There's just no point to it. All right, guys. I think we'll leave it there. Yeah. I think we'll leave it there. We're another stream in basically 9 hours time. Send the notes later. Yes, I'll send it in. Send in just a little bit, Romero. I'm gonna go take a shower and then I'll send it in a bit. I am. Yeah, I will send my notes. I'll see you guys in like 9 hours time. If Easy doesn't stream, then I might stream a little early so that I can go to the gym at night. I don't know. I'm sending the official drama music just so you can hear it. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, username. No, you're good, man. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your day or nights, and I hope to see you guys in a little bit. That's it.